Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. There's Beth. Okay, cool. Go for it, Mika.
Ugh. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Wanderer's Haven. We are here for the aforepromised part two of a two-part adventure. My sincerest apologies about not. There's another pupper treat about not being able to have this game on our original schedule. I came down with the plague, and it sucked. But I'm over it now. We got everybody's schedule sorted out, and we are here tonight to play some Dungeons and Dragons, specifically in the world of Eberron. How's everybody feeling tonight? Are you guys excited to play? Excited to get this over with?
Wow.
Right? I was looking forward to part 3.
I'm excited to play,
but... we'll see about a part 3, maybe. If you guys survive. Like, anything can happen. So, thank you all for joining us tonight. Jeremy, thank you for having us on your channel once again, corrupting everything that you do here, and giving us an opportunity to love on Libby a little bit, because Libby's amazing. We're going to go around the horn here and let these folks introduce themselves here in just 1 minute. Have just a couple of shout outs to get through first. As always, I have to thank Tabletop Audio, because tabletopaudio.com is farkin' amazing. And if you didn't know that by now, what are you doing with your life? They make pretty awesome music and ambiance and such that is free. They also have a Patreon where you can get extra stuff that is equally awesome. And great music and ambiance for any of your TTRPG needs, whether it be virtual, in-person, streamed, not streamed, whatever. It'll get you sorted. Other shout out, Jay and Peku. They make awesome maps and art and such. They are probably the biggest map maker on the internets these days for TTRPG stuff. And I love their scenes in particular. They make cool art versions of their maps and animate some of them, and they're pretty awesome. And then last but not least, I have to thank the ever amazing, wonderful, imitable Raven Serenite, who is one of the best fans you could possibly have for anything that you do. They're an amazing person, and they made one of the Hero Forge minis that you're going to see tonight. Yeah, because that's just how awesome Raven is. Hey, Cozy, thanks for dropping by. That's all of my shout outs. Why don't we go around the table and let folks introduce themselves and a little bid about their characters, and we will start with Myriad, because she's a pro.
Hey guys, I'm Myriad. I'm playing Ryrole Ferde tonight. She is a warlock, she is a shadow elf, and she's in a lot of debt.
I thought we were supposed to be playing a game that didn't represent real life.
You didn't have to say that, Miko. Now I'm just reminded of
Too
my
real.
crippling stress in real life.
Right.
Sorry. Hey, Folk and Myth, hidden with the sub. Deb, you're next.
I am. Okay, great. That's me. I'm Deb. I am playing Eliza Mason tonight. She is a human monk, Way of the Drunken Master. She dabbles in a little bit of piracy, and yep, that's about all I can remember from how many weeks ago? 3 weeks ago. So
Again,
we'll see what
I
happens.
thought we were not supposed to be playing real life. This was... I'll let you guys determine which part of that is actually real for Deb. Beth, your turn.
Hey, I am Beth, and I am back playing Silas Nath, who is formerly a well-respected investigative journalist. Had some rough times, was saved by Cog a little bit, and now is attempting to save Cog himself, but I don't know that it's actually going to happen, because we're all kind of in a bit of a pickle, so we'll see how it goes.
I mean, you guys seem to enjoy the pickle that you were in last week. Speaking of
Love a good
pickles,
pickle.
Jeremy,
I'm not sure I like that segue, but hey, I'm Jeremy. You can find me here or on the internet. And I'm playing Hex,
There we go.
the artificer. I had to think of what he was called, what his name was. And also here to save Cog, but as we'll find out here in the very beginning, we'll see how long that lasts, because he kind of got his ass kicked last time.
also, just for clarity, Hex, not Daddy Hex.
Right.
Only one of them.
Two separate characters. Thank you, everyone. And also, I am Miko, otherwise known as the OKSGM. I am your humble game master for the evening. And yeah, stick around at the end of the show when these people get to talk about all the other awesome stuff that they've got going on in these here fine internets. I think that pretty much wraps it up. You guys ready to play? Okay. Let us dive in with a little bit of a recap to what transpired in our first session. All of our illustrious individuals in the city of Sharn now find themselves neck deep in shadows. Amongst the towers of this grand city, danger likes to play hide and seek. That danger found its way to the doorstep of one Garrick Blackthorn, that sly old fox who knew everyone and everything, yet somehow wound up dead. And his passing has been a mystery, written like the headline in the city's darkest gazette. All of you met up with Cog, a relic of war turned gumshoe, in a tavern with more shadows than light. He had a look in his eyes, like he'd seen the gears of fate spinning out of sync. He made his case to investigate the death of Blackthorn. Just when you started to feel the plot's web tangling around your fingers, hired goons swarmed the place. The Duskfang Syndicate, no less. The kind of trouble you don't walk away from easily. In the chaos, Cog disappeared, snatched or fled, you couldn't know. Either way, he was gone, and you were left with more questions than answers. The taste of mystery and danger bitter on your tongue. But then an invite slid under your door, as silent as a shadow at midnight, calling you to the Gilded Orchid, the luxurious bathhouse dripping with threat and power like water through a golden pipe. This is where you met Mr. Cross, a dragonborn with scales that shine like sin. A powerful piece in the criminal chessboard of Sharn, who presented you with an offer that's got strings attached like marionettes. Help him find Blackthorn's hidden stash of powerful artifacts, and he'll make all your troubles wash away, along with giving you Cog's whereabouts, maybe. So there you stand, on the steps of the bathhouse, at a crossroads with yourselves, steam rising around you along the street, and decisions hanging heavy in the air. Will you follow through on the deal? Step into the game with the big players? Because in Sharn, when you play the game of shadows, you win or you disappear into the night. The choice is yours, friends. Now, standing on those steps, what would you like to do?
So, I don't want to be rude here, so if anyone else has anything, but Hex has wheeled himself out and is almost on the verge of hyperventilating, like breathing heavy, holding his chest, and finally just like leans over the side of his wheelchair and expels violently everything that he ate earlier, and then sits back and just kind of like is leaning his head against the back of his wheelchair and looking up at the sky, and then closes his eyes.
First time dealing with the seedy underbelly of the city, huh?
I don't think I can do this.
Ah.
Well,
you have to, actually. It's not really a matter of choice.
I'm looking at you, but like every time I happen to catch your eyes, I look away. Very whatever it was that person put in Hex's head has made him act even weirder around you, if that's possible.
Silas will just hand over a handkerchief and just say, "Get it together. We've got a lot to do."
No, I think the three of you are probably much better able to handle this. I thought I could do this. I thought I could help Cog. I thought I could be Cog or something to him, something helpful. I've got to go find Stanley. I'm sorry, I can't do this.
You have to do this. It's not a choice. You're here. You can't go. We need your help.
You just gonna abandon your friend?
Well, no, but I was no good to you in there. Look what happened in there. That, whatever that was, it just, there's like tears building up in my eyes. And you definitely notice that there's a shake that has started, and I'm rubbing. I think you've noticed by now Hex is missing both of his legs. One of them is more there than the other, and he's kind of rubbing that one. I don't think I can do this.
I don't know if you saw Dragon Daddy in there and his sidekick, but they don't exist just down here. If you try and get out of this, if you try to go home, they will follow you and find you and make things much worse for you.
I mean, we have some guards at the house. You're all welcome. You're welcome to come with me and be at the manor with me. Maybe they can protect you too.
I don't think you understand how powerful people down here can be. Your little house guards aren't gonna do shit.
We've already made the deal. We either complete our end of it, or we quite literally will die.
I don't want to split hairs here, but I don't think I actually made any deal because I'm pretty sure I was busy drooling and fairly incoherent.
Do you want to go back in there and ask if you're part of the deal?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Can you give us just a moment, and I'll point to Hex. Get over here. Come here, and we'll just walk up a little bit. So
I actually tried to turn and go the other way, and Sterling just turns and drives me over your way. God,
so
bad Sterling. No.
I stand next to you, so we're facing away from the other two. And I'm just like, listen, you got to get it together. We're stuck doing this. There's no way out of it. Except death. You can do this. You can do this. And you have to do this.
I haven't felt anything like that since this happened to me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do any of this. I've helped Cog before. Cog is why I'm out here, but I don't.
I get it.
I thought I was capable, and
you are.
They just. I was like a gnat, or I was like the bar of soap that they drop in the prison. I wasn't even
Yeah, that
What
was
does he know about prison?
an interesting.
You're not really sure he knows what. Yeah.
But look, okay. Cog is all of our friend, right? We all.
I mean, to
Owe
be
him
fair,
something?
I haven't met any of you before tonight.
Well, I mean, you don't give a shit about us, but you care about Cog, right?
I do, and I can only
All right.
take you at your word that you're Cog's friends, but maybe
Well, we're
me
all-
leaving is the best way for you to be able to handle it.
Stop it. Cut it out. Man up. This is terrible, and we can fix it. All right? You're stuck with us, you're doing this thing, so you can either whine about it, or we can just go get it done. And I'll just turn around and go back to the rest of the group. He's fine. We're fine. We can keep going.
Riley was like watching, and she sort of fans herself a little bit. She's like, "Oh, Silas."
After several moments, and Sterling will turn and wheel me back over. So I suppose you all have a plan or something.
Absolutely not. But
Nope.
we'll make one.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing. You make a plan, shit goes sideways, and then you can't think your way out. If you don't ever make a plan to begin with, you just wing it.
I think it's good to have at least a basis, you know, but flexibility is key. You're right.
So where do we start?
Well, that's a great question. And I'm sure Silas would have an opinion on that, but I don't personally know what the next step is.
As you all are standing there, I will interrupt for a moment and say thank you to Top Down Tabletop for the raid. I did not catch that earlier because I was in the middle of my stupid monologue. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, folks. We are playing Dungeons & Dragons Eberron in a noir-ish mystery adventure that has apparently turned somewhat hostile. But, you know, those kinds of things happen. As the lot of you are standing on the steps of the bathhouse still, amongst the steam and mist of Lower Sharn surrounding you, the air shifts above you. A subtle but undeniable presence. From the misty heights of Skyway descends an air car, flying through the gloom like a specter. Its sleek design not too dissimilar to a carriage pulled by horses, yet it whispers of power and luxury cloaked in magically molded metal and opulence. The air car lands with the soft grace of a cat, the elemental air and fire that gives it flight purring a low, smooth note that resonates like a sultry singer on the stage of a smoke-filled tavern. The driver emerges, a butler, his uniform razor sharp, his demeanor as unreadable as a locked safe. His sheer presence indicates clearly that he is more than just staff. He's a gatekeeper, a watcher, a guardian, and a facilitator. With fluid motion, the mostly bald man with tied back black hair from ears to the back of his head steps around to the passenger door. His movements precise, deliberate. He opens the door, revealing lush seating, promising comfort and confidentiality. Hathaway turns and looks at Hex and says, "Sir, your father requests to speak with you."
Oh, thank the great library.
He slow blinks as he glances around to the rest of you and continues, "And your friends."
Of course.
He's standing there with one arm at a perfect 90 degrees bent behind his back, the other holding to the handle of the door as it stays open, awaiting. and he just looks straight ahead, patiently.
Well, this seems like a direction. Liza will hop forward and get in.
Riley is gonna get in, and as she does, she's just gonna, ooh, this is nice.
Yeah.
This is really leather. As she gets in, she starts pressing buttons as well.
Oh yes, it's actually
Yeah,
drake hide. It's not just normal leather. It's yes. Sorry, go ahead.
Squeak.
As Riverlay is like pressing some of the crystals, they emit the slightest of audible like notes, as if you were rubbing your finger around a pristine crystalline glass filled with water, and each one that you touch changes like the ambiance of the inside of the carriage, whether it be the lighting or just the soft musical notes that seem to be emanating from the very air itself. And then one of them that you touch, a panel slides open just underneath one of the seats, and out pops 3 carafes of different colored alcoholic beverages, along with several glasses. Each glass, slight bit of steam rising up from a freshly made and perfectly square ice cube centered within them.
I'm gonna
play Careless Whisper.
I was gonna go for like a sexy kind of ambiance. So I'm
Yes.
gonna touch the crystals for a sexy ambiance, and I'm gonna grab a carafe and just not bother with a glass.
Okay. As Hathaway is standing there with the door open, looking at Hex, still waiting for Hex to, venture up, he looks at you and says, "Sir, please."
Has Silas gotten on yet?
No, I'm waiting for you to get on
Oh,
first.
I was actually like Sterling pulls over to the side, and I'm like waiting for everyone to get on first. You'll notice that there is like a area where there isn't a seat that maybe there should be, that is probably for Sterling to fit into.
Yeah, a ramp slides out from underneath of the carriage for Sterling to step his way up, and you shift and turn. He shifts and turns you, moving into that spot.
Now that you're on there and not maybe going to, I don't know, fuck off somewhere else, I'll hop in.
I mean,
you.
Sterling can move at a rapid 40 feet per turn, so.
As Silas steps onto the air car, you all get, particularly I think Riley and Liza, get a sense of the wealth that perhaps Hex actually is connected to. His maybe more innocent demeanor belies at least some familial connections that are more than you had considered before. All of that said, however, the door is shut, and Hathaway gracefully and purposefully moves to the driver's seat, and you can feel the elemental energies of the air car rise beneath your feet. There's a gentle vibration of the floor that doesn't really hamper any of the experience of riding in the back. You feel the car lift into the air. You glance out. You see the night sky of the city, still very rainy and misty from all of the rain from earlier in the day that is now subsided, and yet you keep rising. Through the various levels of Sharn, you get a very good look up into the sky and the stars around it. It's different seeing it from this perspective. The skies are not quite as awash with the normal light pollution that comes from the city at this angle. You ride around to the outskirts, getting a very good look at the city itself and just how massive that it is. Hex maybe has a few moments where he considers, maybe I could just disappear and they would never find me. Surely those individuals in the bathhouse can't reach everywhere in a city this big. Silas wonders just how much crime and corruption is taking place down below. Seeing it from this angle, it feels much more massive than his poor investigative journalist mind ever considered. Liza just sees more opportunities until we start rising skyward, when she sees the familiar sights of Skyway and is maybe reminded of memories that she doesn't want to remember. Rireley, on the other hand, sees her home from a new light, never having left Sharn. She sees the darkness of it mixed with the speckles of light, wondering where maybe her next marks might be. But as you drink, as you take in the surroundings, as you find yourselves in this lap of luxury, as very, very few in the city can afford a sky car such as this. Is there anything that you would like to discuss?
What's your dad like?
You ask him that, and there's a moment where he's like reaching for one of the decanters, and his hand trembles for a moment, and then he reaches back. He seems far away. Because he was just thinking about whether or not he could hijack this car, make it fly out of the city. The four of us, with the butler, would fly off and begin new lives together. Maybe become pirates or something. That'd be cool. And then you bring him back to reality. I'm sorry, what?
Your father?
Right.
What's he like?
He's a professor. He's of alchemy. He's probably the most well-known professor in Sharn.
That's why you have a lot of money. That's why your watch was so nice.
Yeah, I don't make this much, but his father was also a professor, and there's a lot of, I guess there were investments that they made, and fortunately I have not. I'm still waiting for the perfect time to seize the moment to move out into my own place that, yes.
Do you like your dad?
Oh, he's a perfectly fine gentleman.
Okay, but do you like him? That wasn't
do you
the question.
like him?
We don't really see each other a lot.
But you live together?
You could do a insight check if you wanna.
That's your ass, I do.
Hell yeah, brother.
I got a 17.
It's a 27.
Are you shitting me?
Nope.
Nice. He is. I'm definitely not telling a full story, and probably. He's my dad, but puppetry.
Okay, that's cool. Do you want us to be nice to him, or cool?
Do you want me to be a bitch? Do you want me to steal from him? I could totally steal from him. I might just do that anyway, actually.
I'm not really used to these kinds of questions. I don't really get to socialize much. I see my students, but it's not really quite the same. You probably should. I mean, he has had others kicked out of the estate before. So maybe be somewhat polite if you can. And as far as stealing, I never recommend breaking the law, but in mixed company that I am in, I feel like maybe you do you.
Still like anything that you kind of like at your dad's house that you like.
I mean, he really likes his money and his alchemical projects, and he's like massaging his leg again. And You know,
Did
he
he
likes
do something to you? Did he do is what's going on here? What's going on here?
Oh, I'm not sure I understand the question.
The question was, did one of his alchemical experiments do this?
I mean, it's semantics. It was.
Is it though?
It was my fault. It, you know,
Did he tell you that?
I mean, it was obvious. It was my fault. I was putting my nose where I wasn't ready to be yet.
How old were you when this happened?
Shit, I can't remember what I wrote down in my character sheet. Hang on.
But a child.
Character sheet.
So, okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, whether or not you want to tell us if you like him or not, I think I've developed my own opinion. So,
Does he like you?
Oh,
Like, has he-
he takes very good care of me. Yes.
That's not
That's
not
the
what I
question.
asked.
It's not the question. No.
listen, we don't want to do anything to get you in any trouble because despite kind of how you were feeling earlier, we are sort of friends now. So obviously we would like to respect
Friends?
you, but I don't think that means that we necessarily have to respect your father. He sounds kind of like a shithead. So
I'm sorry. Hang on. Speaking of getting out of trouble, Hathaway, is that right? Hathaway,
Yes.
how did you know where we were?
You have to lower the window to be able to speak to Hathaway. You slide the window open. Hathaway's head tilts slightly in your direction so that his ear is towards you, but he is still watching the skies as he is flying you all.
Responsible flyer. I like it.
Yeah.
Sir, how did you know where we were?
Your father indicated the location and suggested that I attend to you post haste and bring you to him for matters of discussion.
is he tracking your chair or some shit?
I mean,
Tracker on
he has placed safety devices on Sterling before, but I thought I removed them all when I started working with Cog. Hang on, and I'm gonna start like fiddling around with Sterling and see if there's any like parts I didn't throw on there.
Well, I'm getting more and more
anything-
excited to meet him.
Is there anything more that I can answer for you, sir?
Are you having a good evening?
Glorious, sir.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
So we all agree that his dad sucks, right?
Yep, 100%.
Absolutely.
Give me an
Hathaway is
investigation
such
check,
a
Jeremy.
Talker.
Yes, Hathaway is a talker.
Oh, jeez. Well, that's a 10.
Everything on Sterling looks exactly as it's supposed to be.
I don't see anything. You know, there are spells and such. I've never really been good at them. You know, with the woo and the hand gestures and all that. We have like people that can do that. He probably just was worried about me, as fathers do. Yes.
We'll trust your judgment.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll trust your judgment, and I'll wink.
Do you actually do air quotes? Because I feel like that would be perfect.
Trust your judgment.
Right.
There's an uncomfortable silence for several long moments before you start to see the lights of Skyway ahead. How does Liza react? seeing Skyway from this perspective, she hasn't seen in a bit.
If there's like a curtain on the window or something, like I just close it so that I don't have to look out the window.
Fair enough. Also, for what it's worth, those of you that have partaken in any of the alcohols that were presented in the little car bar find them to be very, very exquisite. Certainly better than anything that you might have procured from whatever bars, taverns, or other nefarious establishments that you found yourselves in the previous weeks.
I don't know, that one beer that we had earlier, the one that was called, like, the beer was called Yellow Piss. That was pretty amazing. That was... No? Okay.
No, most certainly not. As you see Skyway getting larger and larger in the windows ahead of you, you find yourselves flying through the various towers of this floating city above the city of Sharn. Here in this place, there is no measure for the amount of wealth that exists. Even at this late hour, you see people walking about, flying about. Personal flying craft are fairly common up here. The nightlife is far different than that of Lower Sharn. But there's a certain coloration to it that each of you feel. Perhaps not Hex, but certainly the rest of you. That there's something just not quite normal about this place. This is not how real people live.
I feel like you don't even need to insight this. Hex just like relaxes.
As you weave through the various Skyway streets and see all of the people here, you can take your own measure of disgust or intrigue that you have for all of it. But one of the things that stands out most to you is the buildings. Everything is just so clean up here. Clean in a way that is most certainly not the rest of the world, much less Sharn.
I think Riley like rolls down like the window a little bit.
Sure.
She like, oh god, why is the air spicy?
Oh, yeah, so they pump that into the air. It's like an incense kind of that kind of freshens things here.
That's just
Makes
in the
my
air
mouth
all the
feel weird.
time.
I don't
It
like
actually
that.
shifts depending on the time of day.
Why?
You know, I've never thought to ask that. Because?
Back up. Heads. You love
The taste is now in the cabin of the air
I
car.
made a mistake. Just like cut my shirt up. Start to
You'll get used to it
The
after
musk.
a while.
the musk of the lower city.
Oh, really? You spent a lot of time up here?
Not here in particular.
Feel like you're withholding
Insight
information?
check.
Let it slide?
Wouldn't be a noir mystery if everybody didn't insight check each other.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll do it too.
16.
That is a 19 plus
Fuck me. 10.
24.
You go from a 27 to a 10.
A natural 1, that's how.
Oh, fair enough.
I rolled a 25, so
Get the fuck out of here.
Missed it
Ew.
by one.
Yeah. Liza's really hard to read. She's got some alcohol in her
Nuts,
breath,
prick.
so. Your arrival at the home of the Hex estate does not go without notice. Several of you are perceptive enough to be able to see the various guards and such standing at the walled wrought iron gates of the estate. And although it is certainly smaller than perhaps some of the other ones that you flew by, it is still very, very grand. You could easily fit 4 of the gilded bathhouses on the grounds of this estate.
Did they?
Uh.
Are there 4 bathhouses here? Just wondering.
No, only 2.
Okay.
Rich people.
The manor house itself is quaint, only 4 stories tall, and seemingly made of brick, which is a rarity this high up. Liza might know perhaps that that's a subtle sign of wealth, because brick is a heavy material to be flying up to the skyway. Usually people go for lighter materials. Perhaps this is Hex's way, just showing off a little bit for those that actually know. As the car descends to the front of the quaint 4-story manor house, the butler sets everything down nice and gently. Smooth ride. Starts to get out, and the door opens, and you see 2 other servants coming out, one opening the door, one pulling the ramp out for Professor Hex. They stand off just to the sides. You can see that they wear the same kind of crisp style uniforms as Hathaway, who at this point, before you can really start to get out, has already moved over to stand beside the other servants, and they tilt the upper portions of their bodies ever so slightly forward in the subtlest of bows, awaiting whoever exits.
Well, last in, first out, I say. I'll hop out.
Riley gets out with her shirt covering her face.
As Riley steps out, anticipating whatever poisonous smell might be affronting her this time, it smells like a fresh ocean breeze on the estate.
Oh,
Of-
even worse.
On the estate of the Hexes.
Smells up here. Gross.
Oh, it'll pass, I promise. But if you're looking a little green, there's a very convenient little baggie right behind your seat. If you just pull that out for air sickness.
Did you not have a baggie to vomit into yourself before?
Well, I wasn't in the car.
I figured you would have one in your little compartments.
You know, I don't tend to get like motion sickness anymore. I'm used to the like kind of moving around and Sterling doing like the things that it does, and then he remembers who he's talking to, and he's like, oh, and he rolls away. And as he rolls up the ramp, he looks at the stairs. The repairs are going very well. Sorry about the. I didn't realize the new legs were going to be quite so destructive to the steps. Thank you for reinstalling the ramp.
It's fine, sir. The rest of the masons are coming tomorrow to finish the repairs.
Has the professor seen the study floor?
Calls his father the professor.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please, do come in. Hathaway, if you could see them to somewhere comfortable.
Your father recommended the tea room,
Of course.
sir.
Tea room.
East wing.
Oh, the East Wing tea room. That's not so bad. Okay.
As Liza got out of the carriage, she took one of the carafes with her and she handed it to one of these servants just standing there and was like, hey, you, make sure this is full. You can follow me.
The servant just reaches up. You can see that they are young-ish, probably, 24, 25 years old. Half-elven man reaches up, takes the carafe, head still bowed, not looking at you, and just simply says, "Yes, madam." You all stand there uncomfortably. Hathaway is looking at Jeremy. Hathaway is looking at Hex.
I continue wheeling in as I've said these things, and I'm going to freshen up, and I'll see you all there.
All right.
The rest of you pick up on Hathaway giving a very, very heavy sigh as Hex scampers, half wheeling himself away. Follow me, please. And he starts making his way inside of the manor.
I'll
Guess I'll
follow.
follow him.
As you all step into the Hex Estate Manor home, you find it actually very simple by regal standards anyway. There are a smattering of paintings on the entry foyer. There's a couple of statuesque busks of someone, not really sure exactly who. Hathaway just simply keeps walking. The simple stone floors clattering under his pristine shoes. He leads you across to the manor home.
Anything
You don't get a feel.
small that I can.
Give
You're
me
not
an
gonna just do
investigation
the-
check.
The reach and sweep. Open your
Nah,
bag.
I'm a thief with class. That's gonna be a 19.
There are a number of small things that you feel like you could pilfer. Some pristinely crafted candle, tiny candle holders and such. They have candles in them, of course, but you're pretty good at this. So
I'm gonna try to just pluck the candle out and shove it in a plant or something, and then just take the candle holder.
give me a sleight of hand check, please.
Natural 20 for a 26.
Easily done. Pristine grace. Certainly no one possibly could have noticed. What is Riley's passive perception?
13.
Okay.
I don't like that you asked me that.
This little candle holder is much heavier than the silver that it implied when you first glanced at it. Much heavier.
I'm gonna kind of hang back from the group, sort of a little bit behind, and kind of take a little bit of a closer look.
You are fairly certain that you are holding a 2-pound block of adamantine in your hand, which is probably alone worth 500-600 gold pieces.
As everyone's walking, you'll just hear Riley go, "Oh, sick," as she shoves it back in her pocket.
And that was a candle holder on a tiny shelf with an unlit candle, serving no purpose but appearances.
Rich people.
It's also there in case certain golems go crazy and attack us, then we could just use candlesticks to beat them to death.
Just a projectile.
Right.
I mean, 2-pound block would do some damage.
Yeah.
But anyway, Hathaway leads you all through the manor home. Hello. Okay.
You okay there?
Yeah, he just apparently he was offended or something. I don't know. As Hathaway moves through the home, how does Silas and Liza take in these surroundings? We've already got pretty well established what Riverlay is interested in.
Silas has been in spaces somewhat like this in his previous life when he was doing legitimate journalism. Never felt comfortable in any of these places, but I think especially now, as he's walking through, he's sort of like scratching the stubble. He's like realizing how like shitty he looks, and doesn't mind in a very superficial way, but is just sort of, I guess, reminded that he's living a very different life right now, and I think he's also looking around and thinking about Hex and what this life would be like for him.
Liza is not really looking around. She's keeping her her eyes on the butler, leading them where they're going. But there's definitely like she has a bit of a calculated look on her face because she knows kind of instantly what all of this is worth, and that the simplicity of the place sort of belies its extravagance.
Fair enough. As you are led into the Eastern Wing tea room, you find a relatively small but fairly comfortable room with several smaller couches and a couple of very plush chairs centered around a low-height table. The table itself seems, at first glance, to be unassuming and not anything of particular note. Silas, however, seems to recall seeing this table before. And as he moves into the room and starts to look around, he feels a sense of familiarity with the room itself as well. And you recall being in an almost, not quite, but almost identical room some number of years ago in some politician's home, getting ready to sit down and interview someone. And you're not sure at this point whether that room or this room is the copy, but someone purposefully duplicated the room. Almost to perfection.
Interesting. Okay, I'll hold on to that.
As you move into the room, Hathaway just simply stands off to the side as you are escorted in. Very quickly, behind you, those same two servants come into the room. One of them approaches Liza with a full carafe now of the glorious liqueur that she was partaking in. Hands that off, doesn't bother with glasses. The other servant comes in with a very large silver tray with a perfectly pristine crystalline tea set upon it. The crystal refracts with glorious prismatic light as it catches the various candles and lights of this quaint small room. You can see that there is steam rising out of the primary decanter and several small, the kind almost like traditional sake glass style crystal glasses awaiting the various teas. There's several small capped bowls with tiny spoons sitting next to them, and several filter presses sitting off to the side that seemed just the right size for the crystalline glasses. Jeremy, what is Hex doing?
So I make a show of heading towards like my area, like where my rooms are. And then as soon as I'm out of sight, I quickly turn down a different hallway and quickly roll towards where Xavier has a small laboratory that he does his alchemy in. It's not like his main one, it's more of like a hobby one. And I open the door and I go in, looking around to make sure no one's there. I'm messed up from that lady getting in my head. I need something to take the edge off. Something like a bubblegum flavored healing potion or something. And so I start like going through the racks and I'm looking, trying to identify. I know something of alchemy, having, grown up in this house, and I was going to follow, but looking for a healing potion. And I do know that he has some stuff that he used to give me when I was injured originally that kind of took the edge off.
Right.
Looking
anxiety medicine.
Right. Looking for some of that.
Okay. Do me a favor and roll 2 checks. The first check is an investigation check, and the second is a wisdom saving throw.
Perfect. This will be great. Investigation is going to be 18, and wisdom is 14.
Okay. With the investigation check, you very quickly find a healing potion rack. Your father keeps several of these handy. He's never really explained why, but you've had discussions with him about it before, and he always just brushes them off. So if you, depending upon how many you want to take.
How many are there?
I mean, it's a rack of 5, so.
I'll take 2. I feel like 2's
Okay.
pushing it. He notices these things, but
Do you take them from any specific end of the rack of 5?
I'll take 1 from each end.
Okay. Perfect. You can write that down.
I'm going to take the one that was on the left, and like my hands are shaking a little, and I pop it open and I drink it.
Okay. You don't have any damage, right?
Yeah, I only have 10 hit points right now.
Oh.
Yeah, she melted my brain real good.
Oh, right. I forgot about the psychic damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll 2d4 plus 4.
That is 12.
There you go.
Perfect.
You also find on a slightly lower rack a ivory chest, like little, not a big chest. It's a tiny, like little box, lidded box, made of ivory. And you pop that open, and inside there are several small paper envelopes, which you know to contain various powders that you mix in with tea, or if you really have to, you can like just straight down the powder, but it dries your mouth out very quickly when you do that sort of thing. But it also makes it work really fast when you do that sort of thing too. So
I'm going to take 2 of them. I'm going to mourn the fact that I should have mixed it with the healing potion, and then down one of them dry.
okay.
Because I probably won't have time to get it into the tea once I'm in there.
Okay.
What should I add as far as the other healing potion?
It is a greater healing potion. So you can add a greater improved healing potion, or greater healing potion improved, however it is in D&D Beyond. You'll see it.
Perfect. Thanks.
As you down the powder, it works almost instantly, but then you cough half of it up, and this cloud of dust appears on the display case where everything was, that you were going through, because you are immediately surprised as there's a very loud meow at
paper cuts.
your legs, and you see your father's very, very large torty cat sitting there staring up at you.
What is this torty cat's name?
You name it.
What is that torty cat's name?
Artemis.
That
Perfect.
fits.
Artemis stares up at you with that hate-filled expression,
Good Artemis.
knowing that you're not supposed to be here.
So I will take out. I've built this little cylinder that has. It just has like a little crystal on one end that I tap, and it emits a beam of light. And I'm going to shine that beam of light to create a little red dot on the far side of the room, and get Artemis as far away from me as possible. Because Artemis really likes
Miri.
my wooden leg, so.
Miri, roll a d20 for me.
5.
Okay. Yeah, the cat is instantly drawn to the light, scampers off, basically flying away. You hear something tumble in the darkness of the room, and then there is a as something off of whatever the cat bumped into fell to the ground and cracked, if not shattered.
Artemis's problem, not mine. However, looking at the powder that's all over and looking at Artemis breaking things, I'm like, oh, and I'm going to just like dump over the ivory, little like ivory chest and be like, oh, bad kitty, and then wheel out.
Roll a d20 for me.
Bad hex.
Oh, God. Oh, I thought that was a 2. Not great, but 8?
Okay. A few of the little paper envelope sashes kind of fall out, and the powders from them, like, basically spill out onto the floor. And as you are starting to wheel out of the room, you look over and you see a small bit of smoke rising up from the paper.
Oh, paper cuts. This is not going well. You should go to whatever they're doing while I figure out how to put out this fire.
I didn't say it was a fire. I just said there was smoke. So the rest of you are sitting in the tea room, waiting. The servants have
smoke.
the servants have departed, except for Hathaway, who is standing there, his hands clasped behind his back, his gaze looking straight ahead, if not slightly up. So he's not actually looking down at any of you as you are seated. I'm assuming seated on the couches.
Riley is lounging, sipping tea, pinky up.
Can I retcon that one of the servants is still there? Because as he tried to hand me the full crap, I was like, oh no, you misunderstood. I'm not holding this. You stand here and hold it. And when this glass is empty, you fill it.
Roll a d6.
Why is this a bitch? That was a compliment, by the way.
1.
Okay. You are nursing the one glass in order to make this as long and uncomfortable as possible for the servant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Silas is just sitting uncomfortably on the couch, just sort of like leaning on his knees, holding this cup of tea very awkwardly. Like he's used to like a shitty coffee mug and he's trying to be like delicate with it, but a hot drink is a hot drink. So he'll just sort of sit there waiting and wondering what the fuck Hex is up to.
Okay. You guys are sitting in the room uncomfortably for about 10 minutes at this point. Jeremy, have you figured out what Hex is going to do about the smoke? Correct. You do not see. You are a trained enough, intelligent man to recognize that there is no heat happening because the paper isn't changing colors. But there is a chemical reaction happening between the powders. Raven just said you're muted in chat.
I
can
certainly
hear you.
was. I certainly
Oh.
was. Yeah, I was muted for them. There's a certain lack of motion that I have to like go out and take care of all this, so I have Mage Hand to help me. I'm trying to think of what my Mage Hand looks like. I feel like from the outfit that I'm wearing, this like what almost looks like decorations that are like on there in metal kind of like pull themselves off and move down my hand, and then I cast and it, like the metal hand goes over and does this, and I'm going to like try and sweep everything into like a pile and then roll over it with my wheels. Just like smoosh it out.
Okay. Make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Sure. This will be amazing.
You're like hotboxing the laboratory right now.
Natty 1.
Oh my god.
So back to the tea room. 10 minutes turns into 20. Do any of you do anything, or are you just sitting there waiting patiently or impatiently?
Do you think he ran away?
No.
Yes.
But
At least you're all on the same page.
excuse me, where would the younger Hex have gone? I'll ask the servant who's dutifully serving Liza.
Oh, you're asking the younger servant.
Yeah.
They kind of just look over to you and say, sir?
Hex.
Yes, sir.
The younger Hex. Where would he have gone before
Oh,
meeting us here?
I'm sorry, sir. I wouldn't know.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go
I
find
haven't
out.
saw
so-
you.
Hathaway, as you like stand up and step forward, Hathaway like takes a step towards you and looks you directly in the eyes, Silas, and says, "You must wait here, sir."
I'm gonna need to get our friend though, because we're not doing this alone. So either you can go get him, or I will.
Very well, sir. I shall go and fetch.
All right. Bring him back in one piece, if you don't mind.
Of course, sir.
Just go sit down again awkwardly.
Liza's
Fucking
gonna
tea.
get up and just wander around the room and see if there's anything that catches her eye.
There's quite a lot of books. You also see that there are several very small painted pictures of what are probably family members of the Hex family, and some of them appear quite old. Cursory examination with Liza's expertise says that several of these are probably a few hundred years old. This family's been here for a while.
How small are we talking?
How small are the pictures?
Yeah.
Like 8x10s.
Okay. Just keep wandering around the room.
You want me to steal one of those for you?
The servant that's still standing there holding the carafe just looks over at Riley with a shocked expression on his face.
What?
I know a few people that would be quite interested in them.
Hey,
They
you
just
look
take
away.
a step back.
You look away.
They just take a step back.
What's that?
I'll go and like try to like take it. Like, what do I like? It's like in a frame. Can I like take it out of the frame and like roll it up?
I mean, are you trying to be surreptitious about it, or are you just doing it in front of the servant?
I mean, I told him to look away.
Do you want me to send him away? I can send him away.
Give me
and
an
we can do
intimidation
this.
check, Riley.
Okay.
Silas is just sitting on the couch like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
27.
They stand back and are now just staring down at the carafe of alcohol in their hand and refusing to lift their head.
I'm gonna go ahead and just take it out of the frame and like roll it up if I can.
Okay. You just going at random for one of the pictures?
I'm gonna kind of look to Liza and be like, which one do you like better?
I'm gonna, figure out which one looks kind of like the oldest and most, the one that we could get the most amount of money for.
Okay. Give me a history check.
Oh, does it have to be history?
Make an argument for something else. Maybe it can change.
Like insight into family member like politics, knowing with my background,
Like
knowing
history.
I was gonna
like
say it sounds kind of like history.
no, but like
So, hang on. All right. I'll buy insight, but I'm going to say it's still using intelligence because like
no,
you're
but
going
that's what I
for
want
value.
to get away
You're going
from.
for value here.
Might as well just fucking make a history check then.
Well, there you go.
I'm good at history.
15.
Okay. You point out a picture of a very old, patronly looking gentleman. His tiefling horns are very, very large and grand, and the outfit that he's wearing is a very formal like suit with adornments all on the shoulders and a purple sash going across the front. The painting itself looks to be extremely well done, so that's the one that catches your eye.
This one.
Robert like kind of looks at it. Not my type really, but all right. And I'll
Some people though, they get real
Jones
horny for these.
Some people.
horny. Get it?
You know that stodgy fuck's gonna be back any minute now, so
All
just
right, I'll hurry up.
take what you
Make sure
want.
try not
Sit
to
down.
crease it. It'll
I'll like
just-
roll it up really nice.
Yeah. Perfect.
At Silas, as you say stodgy fuck, the servant goes Jeremy, Hex is unconscious.
Oh, okay. So Sterling can act on its own if this has
Yeah.
become a thing.
Sure.
Sterling can be like
Sterling's last command was to roll back and forth across the the powders that are being swept around and mixed up very, very well.
right.
And
There's a reason I didn't become an alchemist.
some indeterminate amount of time later, from Hex's perspective anyway, he finds himself shaken awake, still in the room. Sterling has stopped moving, and he looks up groggily and he sees Hathaway standing there staring at him. Sir, your guests are getting impatient. Hathaway looks around the room. There is no noise, sir.
Hear it? It's right. No. Let's go.
Do you need something stronger than tea, sir?
No. I'm coffee?
Yes, sir. If I could please ask you to wheel yourself to the East Tea Room. Your father would likely be along shortly once his business has been concluded.
And as I wheel out, I'll stop. Stanley hasn't come home, has he?
I have not seen your homunculus, sir.
If if you do, will you just make sure that he's set in his spot for the night,
Yes, sir.
please?
Of course, sir.
Thank you, Hathaway.
You're very welcome, sir. And he's just standing there waiting on you to leave the room.
Turning and wheeling away. Just still don't understand that guy. So when I
Do
do
you
wheel
wheel your-
in, yeah, instead of like getting washed up like I said, I come in and my eyes are like bright red and like full of like tear stains, and there's white powder all over me, and
What the hell happened to you?
I just had to quick wash up.
You look
Okay.
dirtier.
Yeah.
Oh,
You look much worse than
where
before.
did this come from? Must be sawdust from
Give
Leaky
me a
ceiling.
perception check, Riley.
I really thought you were a square, but I must have been wrong.
I
Uh,
don't understand the
12.
reference.
12. We've already established that Riley has a fairly sensitive nose. As this powder is as Hex is brushing this powder off of him, it smells very familiar. As a matter of fact, you may or may not either have used yourself or have known card players and gamblers to use it themselves when they're on long stretches of gambling and need a little bit of a pick-me-up.
Organa? Little. She leans in. Are you doing hard drugs?
I'm sorry, the what?
Hard drugs. Are you doing them?
I'm
Do you have access to them?
I don't really
Can I have
follow.
them?
I'll reach in and I'll pull out the potion that I got and I'll hand it to you.
When you move in close to Hex, you can see he has at the corners of his mouth some very, very familiar signs of the white powder.
I'm gonna take a finger and just on the corner of his mouth and then on my tongue.
Does Riley have experience herself with this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you immediately recognize the exact flavor of this particular stimulant.
Mango. I'm not talking about the potion, I'm talking about the powder.
My face is completely blank, except for my eyes are very wide as I'm staring at you. And then Sterling just slowly backs away, turns, and I don't turn my head to watch as I'm just staring off in shock. And then I wheel away over to the tea, where a small arm reaches out from Sterling, picks up a tea glass and holds it in front of my face.
He's got it. I'm gonna look at Silas and be like,
We are on a very delicate life or death mission here. I just wanted to remind all of you of that because I think we've sort of lost the thread.
I was trying to hold that, sorry.
I'm just saying it wasn't me who went off and started snorting things in the other room.
I apologize for
You've,
holding everyone up.
unfortunately, you are the best behaved right now, so I don't know
Has-
what that says.
Has the
but-
professor not arrived? I thought he would begin speaking with you all.
Actually, he was here yesterday. You were upstairs for, gosh, I don't even know how long.
You have been waiting that long?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we're
all had
running out of
breakfast
tea.
with your father.
I am so sorry. Have you
I'm
eaten?
Kidding. I'm kidding. Jeez, please. Oh God. No, he's not here yet. He's fucking late. So maybe we can get this ball rolling.
I mean, I could go find him.
Don't go anywhere, please. Why don't you
I think you should
send
stay
your
where we can see you,
minion?
actually. Every
Yeah.
time you leave our eyesight, something bad happens. So you could stay right where you are.
I'm gonna walk over to the servant and grab the carafe for a second and just pour a little bit into Hex's tea cup.
Oh, some downers now too. We're just running the full
Yeah.
gambit.
I
Okay.
have to balance it out, you know.
Yeah.
I stare at it for a long moment, and then I set the cup down.
All right, your choice.
Do you
And
know
then
what your old man wants with us?
I absentmindedly scrub at my face where Ray Relay was licked and touched me. I'm just like,
There's a little bit of residue there, and you feel a little bit on the other side too. Yeah.
Make yourself presentable. If he's gonna be here for a minute, just Christ's sake.
Yeah, for what it's worth, as time has progressed a bit here, Hex is kind of feeling a little high.
well, that's all right. This is normal. This is his baseline. This is where he should be.
Yeah, he's 100% totally fine.
Do we see like a
Until
moment where his pupils just
Until he hears the footsteps, the echoing footsteps down the stone hall that most certainly belong to his father. And as he hears those steps getting closer and closer and closer, his serene calm turns to heavy anxiety. A few moments later, as you all hear these footsteps coming down the hall, you see Hexavier, ostensibly the master of the house, stepping into the room. Hexavier stands before you in what can only be described as the most well put together suit that perhaps any of you have ever seen on a tiefling man. His demeanor is calm and yet has a slight bit of menace to it. He looks at you with piercing eyes as he steps into the room. He is tall, around 6'1", 6'2". Doesn't seem to be extremely muscular beneath, a bit wiry perhaps, but nonetheless, he pulls off the way he carries himself perfectly. As he glides into the room, he simply twists a single hand, and a empty glass of similar crystal to the tea set appears in his hand, and he holds it out to the side as the servant holding the carafe of alcohol steps over and fills it. He, without looking away from any of you, takes a slight sip from the glass and just nods. You are dismissed. And the servant just bows their head and steps out of the room. Hexavier looks to each of you in turn for several moments before his eyes settle upon his son. Jeremy, has Hex turned around, or is he still seated in the center of the room looking towards the table?
I think I did turn, but I have like the cup that you filled with whatever was in the decanter, and I'm holding it and looking into it rather than looking at Hexavier.
Just simply stares at you for several moments and says, "Oh, my boy. What have you gotten yourself into tonight?"
Professor, it's so good to see you. there was an incident at you know my friend Cog that comes for breakfast and tea sometimes.
Oh yeah,
So
I know Cog very well.
right. So he asked that I join him, and I thought we were just going out to celebrate something, or I don't know. And then he introduced me to these fine folks that you see here, and then we were ambushed, and they took Cog, and so we were in the midst of heroically trying to find him when
He just holds up his empty hand towards you. That's enough. Whatever happenstance has taken place for you tonight, my son, I hope you understand that you have brought me no end of concern for your safety.
There's actually a slight look of surprise on my face. Very small. Maybe unnoticeable. I apologize, Professor. I didn't mean to cause you strife. Thank you for
No
sending
apologies.
the car for us, though. We were rather unsure of how to get back home.
I have told you so many times. It's very easy to find your way home. You just have to try.
Yes, I wasn't thinking clearly, Professor. I apologize.
Dee, have you taken your medicine?
Yes, I apologize. I did let myself into your laboratory just to speed the process rather than having to send one of the servants.
I see. Well, we shall have to have a discussion about that later, shan't we?
Of course.
Aren't you going to introduce me to your companions, my boy?
Oh, of course. And my chair turns and I stare at all of you in complete dumbfounded silence for a moment as I'm desperately trying to remember your names.
Silas Nate. Sir.
Yes, this is Silas, a friend of Cog's, and some other friends of Cog's that Liza and Ray Relay.
I give Daddy Hex a wink.
Completely unfazed. Throughout all of this conversation,
Makes me want him even more.
bringing up Cog, going into his private study, all of that, he has been completely unfazed, and his expression has not changed. He seems very calm and serene as he is sitting there drinking whatever this brown liqueur is that's in his glass, and he seems very pleased by it.
I'm fairly certain that you already knew who we were, having extended this gracious invitation to your manor.
Well, let's just say a vetting took place.
Wonderful. What is it exactly that you require of us? We have quite a lot to take care of.
Well, mostly I'm very interested in your meeting that took place earlier tonight. Mr. Cross is quite a character. What was your impression of him? I've heard stories.
Broad.
Oh, have you not met?
No.
Definitely jumped, and like the liquid is now kind of all over my pants, and I just set the glass down. How did you know we were speaking with Mr. Cross?
As I've told you many, many times, son, when you find your way into Lower Shan, people let me know.
I do appreciate you keeping an eye out for my safety, but you know I'm a grown man now, Father.
I'm very well aware how grown you are, my son, and yet I still feel it necessary to ensure that you don't manage your way into more and more trouble. You have a knack for it.
I'm sure that knack will fade in time. But
If it makes you feel any better, your brother and sister receive the same treatment.
Mhm.
So you just keep tabs on everyone then, all the time?
Well, I
How
like
old
to
are they?
know
Are they
when
also adults that you follow everywhere?
Mr. Silas, Mr. Nath, as you are well aware, people with the amount of wealth that my family has can often find themselves being taken advantage of through kidnappings and threats and the various dangers that exist, particularly in the lower city.
I'm aware. Again, I ask you, why are we here?
Well, you haven't answered my question yet.
I suppose I have a follow-up question. Why do you care?
I care about any nefarious individuals that my son might be associating himself with. And no, I do not mean any of you. Please do not mistake my meaning. I am merely talking about Mr. Cross. You see, his reputation is one that I worry about.
He seemed pleasant enough when we met. Powerful, sure, but it's a nice bathhouse he's got.
If you're into that sort of, well, illusion. Son, you know that I've always advised you to be cautious, especially when dealing with unknown quantities, such as those of this Mr. Cross. And I'm curious, are you into something that you might be getting in over your head? Is there anything you wish to tell me that I might be able to help with?
I will look up from the slow, like, trying to clean my pants that I've been doing, muttering something about I really need to design something to come out and clean my pants more often. And I will look at Silas and Liza and Ray Relay in like a quick but like searching manner.
I'm gonna kind of give him a don't play your pop shit.
I don't think there's anything untoward going on that I am involved with, Professor. I did lose Stanley, though. I do hope he comes back tonight, otherwise I'm going to have to go out and search for him after he, turns off. Perhaps you could help with that.
Can't you just make another?
I could, but some of the parts that I needed for Stanley were hard to come by, and
He just looks at you like, oh, my dear sweet boy.
Well, I've heard that the shop that I purchased. Sorry, my mouth just crashed. Purchased it from, is out of business.
Very interesting. I liked that little shop.
Oh, I didn't
We'll
realize.
have to see what we can do. Look. And he kind of just steps forward and he kneels down in front of you, so he's looking at you at eye level. He's still holding his glass, by the way. And he stares at you and he says, "Did Mr. Cross make any deals with you, my son?"
No, not at all. I certainly made no deals with anyone. To which I am not lying, because I was too busy being brain melted.
Whatever circumstances that you find yourself caught up in with Cog or whatever, I want you to please remember, I'm here for you. If you need any advice, or if things become complicated, you can rely on me. You know
course.
that, right?
Of course, Professor. I think everything is well in hand. I just simply must find Stanley, and I do hope that things with Cog work out. I feel like that is probably something well beyond my capabilities, and I'm sure the authorities will certainly find him safely in one piece.
I am certain that Cog, being the resourceful individual that they are, will find no difficulties in getting themselves out of whatever situation that they might be in. In the meantime, perhaps you can ask your friends here if they can help you to find your lost companion.
That is a splendid idea. I was thinking, they've all had a rather stressful evening. Perhaps they could just use the extra rooms in the West Wing?
You finally see a slight crack in his facade at that proposal. He says, "Of course, we would happily let any of your friends stay with us for the evening, if that's what you so desire." And he looks around at all of you. Go ahead and give me insight checks from the rest of you, not from Hex.
And I'm like,
15.
oh, wonderful, a sleepover. It's been many years.
27.
9.
Jesus.
Liza's on her second drink now, and maybe doesn't care so much about this conversation. Ryrelay definitely picked up on the subtlety of the threat, and Silas does not want to spend any more time in this home as he can avoid.
To be fair, he already didn't, but this confirms it.
Meanwhile, Hex is like, I can show you the plans that I have for, like, Stanley's upgrade, and I have some really great ideas about Sterling. I could show those to you, too.
I am very interested in learning all of that, but, we do have quite a bit to take care of, so, Professor, it's a very kind offer, but
Cool.
we should probably get going.
Yes, well. Looks back at his son. Anything that you need, just let me know. And do be careful, my son.
Do you mind if I use the car to take them home?
Of course. Hathaway will be glad to take you wherever you wish to go for the evening.
You know that Hathaway's been teaching me how to drive, right?
Hathaway will happily drive you.
Oh, It's probably for the best. I haven't had night driving lessons yet.
No, you have not. Well then, I see that my son is doing just fine. I hope you all have a pleasant evening. Do be careful.
Silas will wait until everyone starts making their way out, and he'd like to be the last to leave, and he'll just kind of go forward and reach his hand out to shake the professor's hand, and he'll hold on to it for a moment and just sort of lean in and say, you know, any weakness that you see in your son is a direct reflection of your character. He is better off living out from under your thumb. He stands much taller without you. Sir. And he'll turn and leave.
You get...
Shanked.
give me an insight check.
17.
Okay. This is a man who guards his expressions very well. And you don't pick up on anything other than there is... the grip of his hand is significantly stronger than he looks. And as you're walking down the hall, you actually glance down at your hand and you see that there are 4 pinpoints on the outside of your hand, just barely not deep enough to draw blood.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
rest
I'm
of
rolling
you-
away. Right.
Yeah. The rest of you are basically walked out of the house by Hathaway. The car is waiting still. You are set into the car, and Hathaway, before closing the passenger door, leans in and says, "Where are we going tonight, sir?"
I am breathing deeply, and I've been kind of mumbling to myself about I can't believe that worked. And then I will look around. I actually have no idea. There was something about what I remember that lizard man talking about house thrush. Was that a thing, or was that just part of my brain oozing out my ear?
No, that seems familiar. Vitus Pharaoh?
Is that a destination that we should?
I think that's a person.
It's a person.
Well, no, the house thrush. Is that?
You mean
is that
House Tharask, sir?
Oh, is that what my
I could-
addled brain wrote down on this notepad?
I could take you to one of the houses, if that is your wish, sir.
Is that where we want to go?
Can you just give us a rundown of what that is?
Are you asking above table, or are you asking Hathaway?
Both.
We know, but we
I'll-
just want to
Yeah,
make
we
sure everybody
definitely
else
know.
knows.
Right.
I'll answer as Hathaway then. House Tharask offers many different services for locating people, and they have several offices. Hello. And they have
That was awesome.
they have several offices on the various districts of Shan that you could be taken to. None, of course, here in the Skyway, but I could take you to one in Upper Shan if that is your wish. You are, in fact, looking for someone, so perhaps you could inquire with them as to the cost of their services.
Yeah, why didn't we think of that first?
Should
Let's go there.
Should I bring my? I feel like he carries a purse. Should I bring my purse?
Obviously, you're the rich one. You're going to be fronting this
Sure.
entire thing.
I'm sorry, Hathaway. It would be faster if you went in and grabbed my things. Could you also give me a change of pants? It may be a new overjacket, because this one, I seem to have made a mess of it.
I wasn't going to ask, but did you, like, have an
I'll
accident?
return momentarily, sir.
Did I have a
And he
what?
just closes the door.
An accident.
You get the sense that he wants to
Oh.
lock it, but
Lock it, set the car on fire.
I spilled my brandy. I apologize.
Oh, I thought you pissed yourself.
No.
You said
Not
you
yet.
could drive, right?
I mean, I have a general knowledge about how to operate the vehicle, yes.
Do we need Hathaway?
Oh, I see where you're going with this. I like this.
does Liza know how to drive one of these?
I think Liza is probably slightly more familiar than Hex is with driving one of these. But like she doesn't do it often.
So I could do this, but it will take me some time to rearrange the seating configuration for Sterling to sit there and everything. So by the time I'm done, he might be back.
I mean, I could if we want to ditch. What did you call him? The stodgy fuck?
Yeah, that guy.
Stodgy. I mean, this is.
It's up to you, Hex, if it's gonna, put you in hot water with the old man.
I don't think he would call the authorities on me, but technically is theft of a sky vehicle.
I'll get it back.
Great, let's
We'll
do
buy
it.
another.
And Liza will.
Liza hops out, jumps to the front. Go ahead and give me a dexterity check with proficiency.
Yeehaw. Is there any way that we could help? Like, is there anything? I don't know what I'm doing. But
I mean,
I'm
it's
setting
a.
the ambiance, so.
I rolled a
I would-
natural 1.
Oh shit!
Someone did bring up help beforehand. So
Oh. This is a rather it's a custom built one. So instead of like Hathaway explained this in other sky vehicles, you had to do this, but for this one, you're going to want to do this other thing instead.
go ahead and roll with advantage as Hex is dutifully trying
Jesus.
to instruct you.
Well, I rolled a 2, so that brings it up
Yes!
to a 9.
I doubled your score.
Okay.
fuck.
So you get the vehicle started, and you start to try to lift off, and it very quickly starts to keel sideways, and all of you are thrown to the side of the vehicle, causing it to be further imbalanced. And you manage to stop the car just barely before it smacks into a lawn fountain, and you bring it back down to a resting state.
Okay, so
I
it's a
thought you
little
said you could
touchy.
drive that.
Yeah.
Haven't done it in a while. This one, as Hex said, is a little different.
Okay.
Do you need a
Customized.
third drink?
I'm gonna climb out
Time's a charm.
of Sterling and pull myself through the window that has to go, and then kind of sit up and help you to do this.
Pilot and co-pilot.
Right.
Great.
Do we see his Hathaway coming back yet, or are we okay? For
You don't see him yet.
The
Okay.
guards, on the other hand.
There's some looks from other people.
Driving lesson.
You want me to roll again?
Student driver.
Is that where we're at?
I don't know. Is Hex doing it?
Or you can assist me if you'd like.
Great.
How do you want me to do this?
Dexterity check plus proficiency bonus.
Excellent. This is going to be amazing.
With advantage because Liza's helping.
That is a 19
Total?
total.
All right. Silas and Rirelay, you both spread out in the back on opposite sides to give it as much balance
It's
as you
holding on.
possibly can to the vehicle. Silas, you look out and see Hathaway emerging from the house as the vehicle starts to lift up into the air and takes off.
Go, 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 go,
But
go.
Hathaway watched you all as you departed.
As we
Flip
depart,
him off on the way.
I just have something akin to Bad Boys playing.
Nice.
And
Whoop, whoop.
Liza, you notice that I just have this like look of sheer glee spread across my face.
Where are you going?
I have no idea. I don't know where this place is.
None of you do.
Don't we? None of us.
I feel like Silas might, if anything.
I mean, would I? I do.
Give me a history check.
I'd love to. I'd love nothing more. Natural 20 for a total of 28.
You not only know that they're where the many offices of House Tharask are, you actually know that there is a hidden one here in Skyway.
Is it so close that we might get, intercepted by Mr.
I mean,
Daddy Professor?
to be perfectly honest, if someone did call in the stolen vehicle, it really wouldn't matter. You would get intercepted. The private citizen vehicles are nowhere near as fast as the vehicles that are given to Sharn's law enforcement.
Okay.
So that's
Well-
kind of irrelevant at this moment.
We're fucked either way. There's someplace close by if we want to move this along. I can sort of, I'll be the Google Maps.
Sure. You direct the the flow of traffic, so to speak, in this moment, as Hex is valiantly keeping control of the vehicle and doing a fairly decent job. Starting to be very thankful, though, that there is less traffic here in the middle of the night than, during the day. And very, very quickly, you find yourself at the very edges of Skyway. Not too far from one of the several jump points that exists for those people that like the thrill of falling down to the lower levels through the use of featherfall tokens and the like. You see a very tiny nondescript building sitting next to what appears to be a rental office for various other small, more personal flying vehicles. This is a place that Silas knows to be the hidden House Tharask office. You bring down the
Cool.
air car. There's really no one around, particularly, because all of the, high life of this city or this district is taking place further in than the edge. As you get out of the vehicle, however, you look around and you can tell that this kind of feels a little bit more like home for some of you. There's a lot more shadows here. There's way less light. And there's only a handful of people that you can see moving about the shadows, none of which seem to be paying any attention to you. You start making your way over to the house office, the hidden house office. You can see that the lights are out. Silas, having had to do this once before on one of your previous stories, you know that there's a certain knock that you're supposed to do.
I will do that knock.
Several long moments pass. Doesn't seem to be anything happening. As one of you is about to perhaps say something, we're going to take a break. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We're going to take a very quick 5 minutes and hopefully come back and figure out where this train wreck is actually headed.
Awesome. We'll be back shortly.
Stick around. We're back, I think. Are we? Yay,
are.
we're back. Great. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We are going to pick right back up where we left off as our group of investigators in search of their long-lost friend have found themselves to a secret office of House Thrashk in search of someone that might be able to help them track down the good Cog. As you all have given the secret knock to this secret place, no one has come to the door. You wait, starting to get perhaps a little impatient. For some of you, Silas, you go to give the knock again, and as you do, you all hear the sound of another air car coming in. You turn, glance up, and you see a small vehicle, personal-sized, only big enough for one. This one is difficult to see because rather than the smooth, sleek, and somewhat ostentatious lines of the air car, the Hex family air car that you have borrowed, this one is perhaps less sleek and certainly much darker. It almost blends in with the night sky, and if it wasn't for the few bits of illumination that come from the various magics that allow it to fly, you probably really wouldn't notice it from sight. But it certainly makes noise. Not quite the same purr as your car, but, good enough, I guess. And it slowly comes to a landing about 10, 15 feet away from you. And as the door opens up, you see a man step out. He's wearing a long black trench coat. He has a nice suit underneath. He's wearing a bit of a cap on the top of his head, rounded off. Very nondescript man otherwise. And he looks at all of you. And he says, "Good evening. I'm Mr. Spade. And I think I can help you." And he, kind of glancing back and forth between all of you, you can see he has a slight smirk on his face, and then his eyes settle upon Hex. And he says, "Especially you, baby Hex. I think I can help you most of all."
Only my sister gets to call me that.
Oh, I know.
Did my father send you?
No.
How is it these people all know where we are?
Well, you see, I followed you.
Oh. We didn't really get away with all of that quietly, did we? No.
No. Pretty sure everybody within 3 or 4 districts knows about that catastrophe, and he, hikes a thumb over to the car.
What is it that you're offering?
Oh, I'm offering information. You see, I'm a helpful sort. I'm the sort of person that you come to when you're in a spot of trouble. And, well, it seems like your friend Cog got himself in a spot of trouble then, didn't he?
Do you know about Cog?
Oh, yeah. I know Cog pretty well. Pretty good investigator, if I do say so myself, and he glances over at Silas.
Well, are you going to share what you know?
I mean, yeah, of course. Generally speaking, I kind of like this, small talk bit, but if you just want to jump right into the nitty-gritty, I'm all for that too. You see, Cog got himself tangled up with some nefarious individuals, you might say. Believe that you know them as the Duskfang Syndicate.
We're familiar.
Yeah. Well, you see, they've got a Oh, Bones coming in with a raid. Thank you so much, Bones. Thank you for joining us. Things are getting interesting. You missed the Chaos Monkeys really letting it loose a bit earlier. We'll have to see if they get back to it. They're gonna get back to it. As you stand there staring at this Mr. Spade, as he puts it, he says, The Syndicate, well, they've got a couple of different places for themselves around the city and such, but given the location that Mr. Cog was taken, I think it's safe to say that they chose one of their more, well, less pleasant, aromatically establishments. As long as you all don't mind trudging around in the sewers for a little bit, I think I can give you directions to where you might find your friend Cog.
What's all that going to cost us?
Not a thing.
There's always a cost.
You're just doing this out of the kindness of your heart, please.
Well, let's just say I've got a vested interest in Cog getting relocated.
And that interest would be...
I don't want to see him dead.
Right.
And given that you all seem to be friends of Cog, I thought you all might not want to see him dead either.
Why aren't you down in the sewer yourself?
Well, you see, I'm all fine with action at the right times. And well, this ain't the right time. I'm what you might call the person with the info. So I'm sharing. Because I'm...
Convenient for you.
I'm a sharer.
I don't like that. All right, so come on.
What's wrong with being a sharer?
It's the connotations.
I'm not asking you to.
I wouldn't. I'm
I get that.
more expensive, I guess, than you are.
If you say so.
Have you, shared this information with anyone else, or are we the first?
Well, you're the first that I'm telling it to. My
do
little
we make
birds
sure
are the
that-
ones that told me, so there might be other people that know. Very likely, certain red-scaled dragonborn man.
Oh. Wonderful. Well, I guess we better hurry then.
Sewers, then?
Can't wait. Feel just like home.
Where were you raised? Anyway, look. Whatever the situation is, I'm sure you'll do just fine. Just, watch your backs. Places like that, well, there's a lot of shadows.
Are you staying safe up here?
Oh, I'll be around.
All right. We'll lead the way, I guess.
Oh, right. No, that's not how that works. So you're going to go down to Lower Sean, right? And he starts rattling off a bunch of different, directions, easily followable, relatively. Liza, at the very least, Silas for certain, Hex, no fucking clue. You can pretty much find your way there without too much trouble. But as the conversation has gone on, you do get the sense that there's a certain expediency to what needs to happen.
Great.
With haste.
You all pile back into your borrowed air car. Hex and Liza gather up in the front to drive the vehicle tandem, I guess, again.
Sure.
Yep, that's what it takes.
I think that would.
Silas and
Really
Ryrelay offering balance or ballast in the back.
Try not to throw up.
I hand Silas my bag.
I should be fine. Wait till we get to the sewers.
as you all take flight, it certainly is a bumpier ride than when Hathaway was driving. But you do manage to make your way down through the various districts of Shar. There's a certain tension in the air at this point as you find yourselves headed towards the darker, shadowier places of Lower Sharn. You also can't really decide what you're going to do with the car because it's not going to last long on the streets down there.
That should
So
be
if any-
safe, shouldn't it?
Definitely. It'll be fine.
Honestly, don't bother locking it. They're just going to break the windows. It's fine.
Your dad can afford another one, right?
Well, I mean, he'd probably have to at least get this one repaired anyway. And I kind of gesture. There's like some scraped off parts and bits are smoking from things we've run into, and it'll be fine.
I mean, if anything, if we come back and it's not here, that's evidence that we took the car gone. Problem solved.
It's a win-win.
Except for, the eyewitnesses. But anyway, you touch the vehicle down in Lower Sharn, get your way out of the vehicle, and the directions were pretty spot on, actually. Silas has absolutely zero trouble navigating his way to this one particular entrance that looks like a very, very old maintenance shaft that leads underneath of Lower Sharn. Gather yourselves up. You head inside. You are immediately confronted by the aromatic nature of a sewer tunnel. Rife with darkness and shadows, there's a certain amount of green that permeates the space of this tunnel. Some of the light that comes in from above kind of filters through enough that you can see, and you can tell that not many people have been down this path. But eventually, you find yourselves to a cross tunnel where things open up a little bit more. And Silas, for certain, probably Rivalry as well, given perceptions, definitely not Hex. Basically, anyone but Hex are able to fairly clearly see somewhat recent drag marks through some of the muck on some of these side walkways of this sewer. Doesn't take a great deal of effort on your parts to follow those tracks. I need a group stealth check, please.
$18.
Dirty 20.
19.
Nice.
8.
Draw.
Yeah, so as we're going along, you hear like the scorching noises of my wheels trying to get through the muck, and finally you just hear this like clunk 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 as the legs come out and I'm walking.
That up or anything?
It's heavy. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. It makes
on that.
It's I'm not sure what that is. But
Lubricant.
I could hang back. I could or I could go up front.
No.
Or
It's fine. Let's just keep going. Just keep going.
You convince Hex to perhaps walk a little bit slower to reduce
Clunk.
some of
Clunk.
the noise. You start timing your clunks to the various rattlings of pipes and such that are carrying all manner of disgusting liquids through them.
Sewer walk. Kind of like desert walking, but
right. Let's hope there aren't sewer worms. You see something bulge swimming through the muck in between the two walkways of the tunnel that you're in, until eventually you start to hear some people noises, I guess, echoing down one of the various tunnels. Luckily enough for you, this particular way that you're going doesn't really have a whole lot of multi-path ways. And so as you are following the drag marks through, you can see that there's probably not a whole lot of exits that you have to worry about. Maybe a few entrances. You do glance up every now and then, you see like a cover plate to some way out, but no real ladders or anything of the sort. And you just continue following. Eventually, you find yourselves in what you think is probably at the furthest edges of Lower Sharn. You smell ocean air kind of intermingling with some of the foulness of the space, which implies that you're probably on the western side of the city, fairly close to the outer edges, the cliff sides that go down into the oceans, which also means that somewhere not too far above you is probably a familiar bathhouse as well. You eventually make your way through this space in this more open area, and you find a series of small ramshackle buildings set up down below. You hear pumps coming from a couple of them off to the side. You see that the sewage kind of flows a little bit more rapidly through here, and there is a fairly cacophonous noise of what sounds like flow leading out, perhaps. The lights of this place are oddly bioluminescent, giving off green and blue hues, making it all the more ominous. And as you turn a corner, you see a masked individual, not too dissimilar from the ones that attempted to accost you in the tavern not but a few scant hours ago. Seems to be standing guard, just kind of waiting. Hasn't seemed to notice any noise yet, as Hex quietly lowers one leg.
So do we go up and ask them? Do we just like...
I can say that I've never actually done this before, so...
Is to just murder that man. Listen, it's hard to tell from here.
Why not?
They might just let us in.
Oh, I guess we can ask them. It's fine. That's why I was asking what the plan of attack was.
Is this person wearing anything that's just like any insignias or anything that shows what they're with, like any organization that they're with?
Not so much like they're not wearing a particular uniform or anything, but that there is a certain familiarity to the style of the garb that they wear that strikes you very much as Syndicate garb.
Okay, so like Duskfang Syndicate who attacked us
Yeah.
earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you know what? Never mind. Fuck these guys. It's just... if nothing else, we can beat him unconscious and leave him in face down in the soup.
As soon as Hex says fuck these guys, I'm gonna just blast them with an Eldritch Blast.
Oh, we're doing this! Excellent!
Okay. Go ahead and give me attack rolls, right? Because you have 2 blasts.
Yes. So that's going to be a...
You have advantage on both of them too, because he has no idea that you're blasting him. So
Okay, that's a 26 on the first hit.
yeah, that hits.
And then a 23 on the second hit.
That both of them hit.
Okay. So that's 6 plus 6. So 12 damage.
Okay. And do you have any kind of special effects on your Eldritch Blast, like
That's-
the one that pulls people closer or knocks them away or anything like that? Their
Excellent
various
question.
invocations.
What's the one where it drowns you in shit?
Oh, that's
That's
just rolling 12
being
damage,
clear.
which is their hit points. So
Got it.
I'm just looking for extra flavor to, sprinkle on top of this, mucky, awful death that's about to happen.
No. All of my Eldritch invocations were put towards like utility stuff, like a good little investigator.
Gotcha. So please explain to me then, Miri, how this very unsuspecting guard standing there yawning gets blasted by your two blasts and sends him limp, lifeless into the sewer water.
So, as Hex says, basically, fuck these guys, guard yawns and meets an Eldritch Blast that goes straight into his mouth, knocks him probably back into the wall, and then another one goes right into his throat, effectively crumpling him, and you just see Riley go.
Finger guns.
Go ahead and roll a d20 for me, Myriad.
That was effective.
19.
Excellent. There's barely any sound as his body slumps to the ground and has just enough momentum to do that slow, awful spill into the sewer water. And then the flow of the water kind of catches his body and starts carrying him away downstream.
Hex is just
Reduce,
staring at
recycle.
Ray Relay in awe.
Kiss.
Okay, do you think that's it?
Is there another one, or is there
Absolutely
just
not.
one guard?
That's all you see so far.
Oh.
There's you basically because as I had described, there was really only one way, kind of in or out. You basically this was the entryway guard who was obviously not doing very good at his job. You do hear the echoes of some conversation taking place further down, perhaps on the other side of one of these buildings that you hear what sounds like pumping noises coming from. As in pumps and water and the like.
Got
Gary.
it. Got it.
Yeah, I saw your look too.
I didn't want to say anything.
Can we sneak up towards the entrance that the guard was poorly guarding?
Sure. Does anyone want to do anything special as you sneak your way forward?
Since
I'll definitely keep my ears open. I've got a 21 passive perception, so I'm just scanning to make sure we're not going to be surprised by anything.
Can I got a fairly good look at that guy, right? Before I blasted him into oblivion.
Sure.
Can I use my mass charm and disguise self as that guard?
Yeah.
Okay. You'll see a ripple of just purple arcane energy, and where Riley was standing, the guard is now there. He just sends a wink.
You get the sense, everyone else, not Riley, that guard was not the finger guns type. Just,
you never know.
Isn't everyone a finger guns type?
No, actually, there's some people that aren't.
And there's some that are just epically good at it.
It's too true.
So, Riley disguised, or are you just gonna walk around the corner and see what you see, or are you trying to also
I'm
be
gonna
stealthy?
I'm gonna try to peek to see if I can see anyone else. Go up ahead a little bit, 30, 40 feet.
Yeah. So as you go up ahead and you like glance around a corner, you can see that everything kind of opens up a lot more. The sewer water kind of collects in this large pooling space, and at one far end, you can see that there is a very large pipe that goes out, and there's just enough light outside that you can see that it leads to the or light through it that you can see that it leads to the outside, and you're aware enough that it's probably just awfulness being dumped into the ocean, because that's what big cities like this do, right? And
Ocean.
yeah, and as you look around the edges of this very large space, you can see that there are docks that have been ramshackle built to kind of crisscross their way around, and there's a few like shitty tents. There's somebody off to one side. You see like a wood fire grill set up, and he's cooking some kind of meat. Who knows what the fuck kind of meat he's cooking over there, dressed in similar to the rest. And you see a couple more kind of sitting next to a couple of these tents that are basically like just having some ale and casual conversation. And then closer towards you, they're kind of further away from you, and then closer towards you, glancing down the wall, you can see that there's a set of double doors, just like 15-20 feet away from you down the edge.
Does the door seem to be like the only other sort of like exit that's not by way of water out of this place?
More or less, yeah.
Okay.
You can tell that like at the far edges there's some grates that possibly lead into some other passageway above that might go to the street, but you wouldn't probably want to trust the ladders that lead up to them because they are very rusted.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to the party. All right, we got some people off in the distance grilling. I don't know. And then there are some double doors that may lead us where we need to go. We just need to be a little quiet. And I'm gonna very pointedly look at Hex when I say that.
Open for suggestions?
Can you like float or anything? Like,
No.
be really useful right now.
I will absolutely keep that in mind for future upgrades. But for now,
Great.
what if I went off in one direction so that if I do make noise and they notice, that they'll come looking for me and not you?
But then you'll be separated, and then like that's not good because we saw what happened last time when you were face to face with these guys. I think
I'll be fine.
just do your best. Do your best.
I don't want to put you in danger.
I do finger guns. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna start making my way stealthily towards the set of double doors, trying not to attract the attention of the other
Okay.
people in that area.
All right. Go ahead and give me a stealth check then, please.
Is that a
16.
group one if we're following?
I mean, I assumed at this point that she's like going off on her own a little bit just
Okay.
to move further in. What was that?
16.
16. Excellent. The two that are, having some ales and conversing with one another absolutely do not notice you, but the gentleman that's grilling kind of looks over at you and holds up a skewer and like waves and says, "Almost done." And you can see what appears to be probably skinned rats.
Save me a leg.
Okay. And you make your way up to the double doors. You can see that one of them is ever so slightly ajar. Making your way in, or
Yeah, I'm gonna peek in to see what I see.
you glance in and you see what appears to be a decent enough like sitting room. There's it's hard to distinguish the foulness of the odors coming from the room and the foulness of the odors in the sewer. The various pieces of furniture are not very well maintained. They were probably taken from the trash. You see a couple more individuals that look like you now, sitting on a couch. One of them is like nodding off asleep, and the other one is just sitting there reading a book. And then off in a far corner, literally hunched down, bent over, and inside of a cage, you see Cog. Just like forced inside of this very, very small cage, really unable to move.
Okay.
Just laying there.
I'm gonna reach into the front of my shirt and pull out my ferret. And I'm gonna set the ferret on the grass, my familiar.
Okay. All right.
It's not a euphemism, I promise.
I had to be sure.
I'm gonna set the ferret on the ground, and I'm gonna direct the ferret to run back to the group and let them know that how many people are in this room, and to come on down.
Okay. The rest of you are standing back, kind of waiting. One of you, sneaks up and glances around the corner to kind of see what Riley had seen. And just a few moments later, this small ferret comes bounding down the walkway towards you, finds you. The ferret have purple eyes, I assume?
Yes.
Okay.
Does it do finger guns?
Yeah, it like comes up and it goes.
Well, I'll just point out that you are a Pact of the Chain warlock, which means that you can talk through your ferret, and it has your voice.
I kind of don't want to do that. I kind of want it to try to mime and for them to understand.
Okay. Jeremy, I'm getting a message from Raven that you're muted on Twitch again.
Shh.
Thank you so much, Raven, for helping Jeremy produce tonight's game. We couldn't do this without you. All right. Do you want to roll a performance check for your ferret?
Sure.
I'm just gonna not mute myself when I type so everyone can listen to me type.
Do I use my performance or should I just do like no?
Because
plus?
you're a Pact of the Chain warlock, you can actually use your performance.
18.
Nice.
Okay. This ferret captures your attention, sitting in front of all of you on the floor, finger guns and just miming and like tapping his paw and counting out and the whole 9 yards.
Timmy trapped in the well.
And I mean, Jeremy, you can. Hex might not get it, but Liza and Silas absolutely get it, and I'll let you decide, Jeremy, if Hex gets it, because he has a familiar too, sort of. So, like, he might understand this.
I think my first gut reaction is that Riley totally turned herself into a ferret, but then it kicks in what's going on. Like, oh, still cool, but maybe not as cool.
And what is Riley doing as her ferret is pantomiming to her friends?
Riley is acting like a guard. She's sort of standing in front of the door, just sort of keeping an eye out, especially for the people in the area near the tents and stuff, and kind of trying to see if there's any sort of conversation going on in the room.
The room's quiet.
Okay.
One person was asleep and one person was reading a book, and you're not really sure if Cog is conscious or not.
Okay.
So no real noise coming from the room. All the conversation that you heard echoing was the two louts getting drunk next to a tent. Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna wait for the companions before she goes barging in there.
Okay. what are the rest of you doing?
So I'm not going to be able to stealth in there, just so you know that.
I don't think stealth is going to help us anymore. So it's really either we try and bluff our way in, or we just go in swinging.
After the day we've had, I wouldn't mind swinging, but I wouldn't be opposed to bluffing either.
2 fights in one night. I've never been in a fight before, and in one evening, I am going to be at 2.
Get in there.
Lucky day.
I think I have the perfect thing for this.
Great.
Let's fucking roll.
The three of you just come around guns blazing?
I mean, maybe with like a little discretion until we see, our guard friend.
Okay. Who's leading? Are you all letting Hex lead the foray here?
Yep.
Fuck yeah, he deserves
Yeah.
it.
Okay. All right.
Well, in
Hex,
that
you
case,
come rampaging around the corner.
right.
And I say rampaging because you don't stealth your way around. Everyone turns and looks at you simultaneously. Do you have an immediate reaction, or are you waiting to see what they do as they look at you?
No, so I'm absolutely at 209ing this, where I just like come around the corner like boom, 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 boom. And from the bottom of Sterling, welcome Raiders. Thank you, Charm Fantasy, for joining us. From the bottom of Sterling, a scoop drops down and begins to pick up a large amount of the sludge and crap and goop that has collected in the bottom of the sewer, and begins to raise up and then catapults it at the guards.
Okay. Who are you catapulting it towards? The gentleman that is cooking? Rat?
Sure.
Or the two that are getting drunk?
Let's go with the okay, so
Well, I guess it can only target one person, so. So the catapult spell.
yeah, so if it does strike a creature, then they must make a dexterity saving throw. So yeah, I will it seems like it is a singular person. I'm going to go for the rat cooker.
Okay. And you said that they have to make a dex save?
They do.
That's a 13.
15 is my DC.
Well, there we go.
Excellent. So as this giant turd lobs through the air.
Sewer bomb.
Sewer
we call
bomb.
it a sewer bomb.
I love it. That is 14, and 8 is 22 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yeah, so you doubled his available hit points
Oh no,
in damage.
Smeared him.
Phrasing. Would you like to describe the death? And if it does not involve the open flame grill next to him, I'm going to be very disappointed.
I mean, I feel like we're going to avoid the body horror options here and go for the exploding, he's coated in sewer stuff that then catches fire. He explodes. What a shitty way to go.
Very shitty way to go. Wonderful. So yeah, Liza and Silas, I'm giving you guys basically a surprise round here, and then we're going to roll some initiative, should it become necessary. An explosion takes place as you're rounding the corner behind Hex, seeing him just completely obliterate this fuck. The two guys that were, getting drunk, start to stand up, and you see them reaching down with their free hands to their waist and look like they're about to pull firearms.
First, I'll look to Liza, just like, oh shit, we let him go in there, and this is what's happening. Okay,
Oh,
great.
shit.
Amazing. Liza is just gonna start sprinting toward these two, and
If you spend a key point for your Step of the Wind, you can easily jump the gap and be standing right next to both of these
What
guys.
about do my boots of striding and springing get me there?
Never mind, you don't have to spend your key point. You just
Thank
do
you.
it.
Yep. Great. And I want to hit one with my quarterstaff.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that when I gave you those. You could jump like 80 fucking feet when you spend a key point. Jesus.
Why did we fly here? Why didn't you just carry us?
Yep, I could have hop on my back, jump us there. It's great. 16 to hit.
Yeah, you have advantage, by the way, because
Okay.
like they're not prepared for this.
That's 26 to hit.
Yep.
All right, so I will do 12 damage on my first hit.
He's down.
Great, and then I will attack the next one.
Mhm.
Monks.
Monks.
Right.
Oh, that's 12.
Advantage?
Yeah, still there.
23 to hit.
Yep.
Oh, that's not as good. 6 damage.
All right, he's technically still standing.
Flurry of blows.
Yep,
Yeah. Get it.
15 to hit.
that hits.
Another 10 damage.
And he's down.
Great.
I don't understand what you mean that they weren't ready for one of their friends to become a flaming shithead. And
Pile.
we're
Shit
surprised.
pile. He was
Shit pile.
already a shithead.
That's fair. Okay, shit pile.
I'm just imagining that there's this pile that's burning and there's a skewer with a rat on it just stuck in the top of the pile.
Just slowly cooking.
That is brutal.
You
Anyone
can
can
take
eat that?
back the key point that you spent, by the way, for the flurry of blows because you didn't get to attack the second time. So, Silas and Ryrelay. Ryrelay can hear, hey, what was that? Come from inside the room, just FYI, as she sees Liza just leap across the space and completely and utterly lambast these two drunkards before they even get their pistols drawn.
How far away is the guy? If I like kind of peek in, can I see like how far away they were from the entrance of the door?
Like 10 feet. It's not a big room.
Okay. I'm gonna Shadow Blade.
Okay.
So a just like a swirl of purple and shadow magic forms in my hand, forming into like a short sword. And I'm just gonna sort of very nonchalantly, despite the circumstances, slip in and attack one of whoever. If they're both awake, I will pick the one closest to me to attack.
The one reading the book is very obviously awake. The one that was asleep seems to be like groggily. Huh? What?
Yeah, I'm gonna attack the one with the book.
Go for it.
That's going to be. I think that's my.
You have advantage because he's technically prone.
Oh yeah. Same roll. I think it's a 19. Just because I'm not really sure what bonus I add to Shadow Blade when making the melee spell. No, it's technically 17.
Okay. Yeah, that hits.
Okay. And I think it's a D8.
It's 3d8.
3d8. 10. 13 damage.
Okay. As your solidified gloom erupts from your hand and pierces through this guy's book and face, the fellow that was starting to wake up becomes fully awake and starts blinking at you and is like starts screaming at the top of his lungs. Silas, you hear screaming as Ryrelay just like dipped into the room, this blade of purple shadow just emerging from her hand.
Wonderful. How far away am I from all of
Like
this?
15 feet away from the doors.
Wonderful. So I'm going to charge straight up with my rapier and just maybe do a little slicey.
Okay. You burst into the room. You find the guy screaming. He stops screaming as you enter the room. He looks at you and he starts screaming again as you move forward to attack him with the blade. He's still prone, so you have advantage to hit him.
Oh, hello. That's a 26 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay, wonderful.
This is where Miko whips out his secret weapon here, and he's like, "No, 26 misses."
So that's 10 damage. Do I also get a sneak attack for the advantage?
Yeah, you had advantage on the roll, so.
Beautiful. So that's an additional 12 damage.
Yeah. In similar fashion to Ryrale's, shadow blade, your rapier pierces through this guy's throat, causing the screaming to very quickly become a gurgle and a spitting up of a lot of blood and eyes rolling into the back of his head and slumping down lazily off of the blade that ended him.
He'll look around the room after that and just say, "All right, what did I miss?"
I'm gonna
You're
point
not-
to the corner.
Yeah, none of you are in combat anymore, just FYI. Liza and Hex, I'm assuming, join Ryrale and Silas in the room quickly. The two of you that are already in the room can see Cog motionless, very crunched, and he's basically been folded up and stuffed inside of the cage.
Would it be easy enough to open it up? Is it locked?
It does appear to be locked.
Can I try my mystery key?
Yes.
Go for it.
This could be the one. Come on.
Rolled a 14.
Unfortunately, the lock is just a little bit too small for the mystery key. It does not seem to work for this particular lock.
Dang.
Would have been cool.
I can try, if you'd like.
Yeah.
You see, as I go to pull out like a lockpick, that I am missing 2 fingers on my dominant hand. So I'll attempt it, but I do have disadvantage on sleight of hand things. But I have to try.
Sure.
Well, it was a natural 20 and then an 11 for a total of 15.
Okay. Silas is sitting there struggling against this lock, not seemingly really able to do much with it. Hex, you glance down as you come crab walking, wheeling, however you make your way into the room. You come into the room, you see this happening, and you glance down at the table in front of the 2 very grotesquely murdered people on the couch. And upon that table, there is a ring with 2 keys on it.
I've almost got it. Just give me 1 more minute.
In my excitement, there's a moment where I kind of throw up in my mouth a little at the sight of this horrible sight, because this is new to me, but the adrenaline pushes past that, and I notice the keys. There was something in here that needed keys to open. There's keys over here.
The chair dutifully steps forward, and one of the arms comes out and hooks the key ring and lifts it up into the air.
Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle.
I would have had it really soon.
You
Another 2
definitely.
minutes at least.
Yep.
Yeah, you can
For
you
sure.
can keep trying too.
No. Let's get him out of there.
You spend a few moments unlocking. The first key doesn't work, but the second key does. As you open the door, you hear a groan, not of the metal of the cage, but rather the metal of the warforged within. And you drag him out of the cage. He looks horrific. He's been beaten pretty heavily. There's several segments of his body and armor, and particularly his head. They seemed very focused on damaging his face, as he looks worked over pretty effectively. He stands up with some help, perhaps leaning on Silas a bit, and he just kind of lifts his head. As he does, you can hear this like as the metal kind of like gets bent back into place. He's like, "Oh, thanks.
I will
Didn't feel good."
I'll move forward and Sterling will lift me up, and I'm going to dig out that healing potion.
Oh,
Here,
great.
Frank, drink this.
He holds out a hand. You can see that several of his fingers have been bent into awkward formations, but he's able to use two of them and kind of pincer the healing potion, and he brings it up to his mouth, and he basically just drops the potion into his mouth, and you hear the crunching of the glass as the liquid
That's one way
flows
to do
into
it.
him. And the magic of it works fairly effectively. It starts knitting him up really well. It doesn't get past some of the brokenness of him, but it heals his hit points, right? He's obviously got some perhaps mental damage, in addition to some exhaustion from the experience and whatnot. But there Cog stands. He's like, I knew I could. Yeah, I knew someone would come. Thanks.
Yeah,
Good to see
buddy.
you.
Perhaps we can get out of here. And he
Yes, it
is
stinks.
his head is staring in the direction of the couch.
Oh, I thought you meant the smell.
Yeah, we don't.
Oh, yeah, duh.
No nose. Right.
What's that like?
I'm fine. I don't breathe either.
I'm gonna take his other arm and kind of haul him up, help him walk.
After a few steps, he has a better sense of balance and whatnot. You all step out back into the other murder zone. I
excitedly explained to him that pile of flaming crap over there is my doing. It worked.
Great. Good job. And he just kind of glances at Silas.
It's very, very good to see you.
Yeah. Can we just go?
Yeah.
And you start making your way out. As you get back to the tunnel that had led you here, you see a pair of figures making their way down the tunnel towards you. One of them very large, the other one tall but skinny, with a pair of something crossed over her back. Takes a few moments, you all stop, I'm assuming, or do you just start unloading upon the familiar forms of Mr. Cross and Udo?
I kind of want to try at least to live.
Silas, it just stops for a moment and just says, "Mommy?" And waits.
Fair enough. Yeah, Rivalry is sort of just holding her position.
Is Riley still maintaining the disguised self?
Oh no, she's dropped that.
Okay.
What's the play here, guys?
I'm not gonna lie, they definitely could just fucking annihilate us in more
Yeah.
ways than one. So I think that we just try to talk ourselves out of whatever.
What? Why are they here?
That's a good question.
I mean, isn't the thing up there?
But what?
I mean, we could ask them.
Do they see us?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
gonna wave.
Miss,
As
Mr.
you
Cross,
wave, the very obvious Mr. Cross just puts an arm up as well in response.
why are you just lingering? Join us.
They're not. They're actually walking
Oh,
towards
okay.
you. It's a long ass fucking tunnel.
Okay, just
You
just
saw them
double
from a
check.
distance, and I was giving you an
It's-
opportunity to do something if you wanted to.
It's awkward because we definitely just stopped and now we're watching them walk towards us instead
Right.
of just walking to meet them in the middle.
Right. Yeah, you see the familiar form of Mr. Cross, although now he is dressed. He has a wonderful little cap on, tilted ever so slightly to the side. The attire that he wears is actually very ostentatious. There's a lot of gold and metal and the like. But despite the fact that he's been walking through a sewer, it's pristinely clean. Every aspect, even the boots, or even his feet rather, are like pristinely clean.
I whispered.
Yeah, see that kind of magic. That's what I need.
And as the two of them approach you, they get within about 20 feet of you, and Mr. Cross just stops and crosses his hands in front of them and says, "Oh, I'm so glad to see you."
How has your evening been?
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
I've had a lot of visitors tonight. So many people, so very interested in everything.
What's Cog doing?
Cog is kind of just standing there, trying to be motionless. He's got a hitch in his hip, and he can't really put all of his weight down on his right leg. So he's basically just standing there, staring at Mr. Cross, or rather, he's staring at Udo.
Yeah, I understand that.
I mean, it's wonderful to see you again, but perhaps we could talk not in the sewers.
Yeah, I think that could be arranged. But there's just the one little thing. And he looks at Cog. I want him.
That might be a problem.
If I were to push a button on my Steel Defender right now and do something, would it be untoward? Would you all be mad at me?
Nah.
Get
All
it?
right. So, like, very gently, I just reach down and I click something, and this, like, nozzle pops up, and this green, hissing, steaming goo just sprays that direction. He needs to
Okay.
make a dex saving throw.
Okay. This is your acid spray thing.
This is
Right.
Tasha's Caustic Brew
Yeah. Okay.
at second level? Second level.
$24.
Damn.
And because I'm assuming that it's a big enough spray, this is the line effect, right?
It is a line 30 feet long and 5 feet wide. I'm assuming they were side by
Udo-
side.
She was standing just behind,
Oh, well,
like slightly off to the side. That's why I'm giving you the roll for her too. But she got a 27.
Okay. I believe it's all or nothing.
So
Yeah.
the two of them just casually sidestep as this spray goes flying past them, and they turn back and look towards you, and you can see that Mr. Cross has a very, very wide smile upon his face, and says, "Oh, that's where we're going with this." And as he says that, Udo like steps in front of him, and both of her arms come up to her sword handles, and she just starts to pull them. And as she starts to pull them, you all hear this echoing boom come from down the corridor behind them. And I need for all of you to make dex saving throw, please.
Oh boy.
$17.
16.
18.
26.
Wow.
Overachiever.
Yeah. Silas has got it going on when shit hits the fan.
Literally.
Or in this case, blood. Because this boom, just a few moments later, just before Udo can really like fully turn her head to look in the direction of the boom, you are all blinded by a gout of blood mist, as a hole roughly the size of any of your heads erupts in her chest and just sprays blood all in your general direction. You manage to avoid the blood. In addition, you also manage to avoid the 2-inch large metal slug that goes flying basically between the lot of you. And her body just crumples straight to the ground. You see other figures walking, 2 other figures walking down the corridor towards you all as well, with Mr. Cross now standing in between you and the 2 other shadowy figures that you can't quite make out. Give me a perception check, Hex.
Before I noticed the others, I looked down at the spigot that like had popped up, completely confused because it wasn't supposed to do that. Like it was just supposed to spray. I don't know why it boomed and then blew her in half. You say perception.
He has like a 15 passive perception. Come on.
16.
Okay. One of the shadowy figures that's coming towards you at a pretty decent clip is standing behind the other one, which is much taller. And so you don't recognize the second one that's walking behind, but you're fairly certain that the first one is Hathaway. And emerging now about 40 or 50 feet away from you all, stepping into a little bit of light, you actually see Hathaway standing there with this enormous gun in his hand. And you see him like it's kind of like a double barrel shotgun sort of type thing where it like cocks open and he's like pulling out this chunk of ammunition, tossing it into the sewer and slamming in another one, and then just like whips it up, and you can see this like slight glow of illumination coming from the inside of the barrel. Mr. Cross is kind of looking back and forth between the new figures that have entered the fray and then looks back towards you. Do you all do anything?
I finger guns at him.
Does he explode?
Does that come with Eldritch Blast,
Right.
or are you just finger gunning him? Okay.
You should give up now. We had backup that you didn't know about.
Does Liza or Silas contribute anything?
I think they're doing a great job.
As you say that, Hex, the other figure steps into the light in front, slightly to the side, because, you don't get in front of a giant man with a giant gun. You see Xavier emerge from the shadows next to him. He has his fingers crossed in front of him, kind of steepled fashioned, and he says, "Oh, no.
Shit.
We're long past those opportunities, my boy.
I'm completely dumbfounded. I'm just kind of fish out of watering.
What?
Mr. Cross kind of sees your expression from the rest of you, and not seeing a huge threat from any of you, turns his back towards you and like starts staring down the 20-foot space between him and the others. And he says, we can certainly come to some kind of an arrangement, can't we? And Xavier kind of tilts just to the side enough that he can see his son. And he looks at you. And he says, no, we can't. My boy's safety matters more to me than whatever deals that you think you can make with me, good sir. If you don't mind, you all might want to move, Hathaway. And there's another just instantaneous no pause waiting for you guys to move as Hathaway just unloads this giant, enormous, magically empowered rifle of a gun upon Mr. Cross. Mr. Cross no longer has a head in those moments after. You are at least aware enough to take a step back to avoid the hot blood spray from a red dragonborn getting their head blown off. But you don't have to like dodge out of the way of the bullet because it had to be kind of aimed slightly up, going for the head. But a chunk of debris gets blasted out of the ceiling, and some of that like falls in your general direction as you see Mr. Cross's body just slump to the ground.
And it was such a good body.
And it was such a nice hat.
The hat is a shame.
Roll a d20 for me, Jeremy.
Oh no. 15?
The hat is like 6 feet in front of you on the floor.
Yeah, but it sounds
still in one piece. Probably a fair bit of blood on it, but the hat survived.
I've seen some of the workers at the house get far worse than this out of like stains out of clothing. So.
Oh, that's the angle you were going with it.
You meant that they got blasted in the head.
Yes, Xavier starts walking forward, kind of steps around the body. You see Hathaway just like completely and utterly calm, like reloading his gun.
The reload makes me nervous.
Should we? Wait.
Professor?
Yes, son.
Thank you. Thank you. We found Cog.
Oh, I can see that. I'm very interested in what Cog has to say about all manner of things.
Why?
Oh, well, somewhere buried deep within those little gears of his is the key to unlocking a treasure.
I would like to throw a dagger at Hathaway, please.
Okay.
TPK. TP.
I just
Your dagger's range is 20/60, which means you're at disadvantage
we're
to
that
hit
far.
Hathaway.
Oh shit. That's fine.
You could
All
You could charge him.
You could hit Daddy. Daddy Hex is only 20 feet away.
Hathaway's got a big
And closing.
fucking gun. Okay, yeah, I'm hitting Dad. That's fine. Okay, yeah, we're doing it. 16.
Okay. You toss a blade at Daddy Hex. Roll some damage.
Okay. 5 damage. I presume there's not any sneak attack involved with that. Great. Okay,
No.
so 5 damage to this important man.
Okay. Hex, Liza, and Riley, both all of you roll a perception check. Hex at disadvantage. Because I feel like he's not going to be aware enough. He's going to be too focused and on his dad and like not and like weirdly just
That was critical.
focused on that.
12.
23.
Is
15.
it too late to say that it slipped from my hand?
Probably too late. So Liza and Hex, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to also do something as you see Silas throw a dagger here. Riley is just a little bit slow on the reaction time to really process that Silas just tried to knife Daddy Hex.
I guess, oh god, okay. I guess I'm gonna use my boots of striding and springing and leap over to Hawthorne.
Hathaway,
Yep, whatever his name is.
you're going to leap over Daddy Hex to land in front of Hathaway?
Yeah, sure, why not?
God
Okay.
bless.
Yep.
Okay. You land in front of Hathaway as he is like finishing reloading the rifle and sees what's happening and looks like he's about to try to blow you to pieces.
Can I hit him?
You can go. You can try.
Okay. 16.
That hits.
Okay. That's 10 damage.
All right.
And then 21 for 13 damage.
Damn.
And I'm going to flurry of blows because that's where we're at.
Okay.
18.
That hits.
Oh, that wasn't very good. 6 damage.
Okay.
Oh, not good. 12. Does 12 hit?
12 does not hit.
Okay.
You don't have like key point reroll attack or anything weird like
I-
that?
Don't.
Still, 29 damage in rapid succession from 3 blows sends him reeling a bit. He's not down, but he's reeling a fair bit from that. Jeremy. Hex has an opportunity here to do something or say something if he wishes.
So, Sterling moves between Silas and Daddy Hex, and I grab Silas by the shoulder, and when I do so, there are these little bits on my sleeve that like get up and climb off and climb onto your shoulders and like connect to your whatever you're wearing, begin to glow. You are going to get +1 +1 to your AC and saving throws. You have resistance to all damage, and when you take damage, I take the same amount of damage.
Well, you take half damage, and then he takes the other half of the damage.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we could talk about this. I apologize for any misunderstanding. I think I don't know what the hell is going on here, but I don't want my father or servant man. I don't want Hathaway to kill you. So,
As you say that, I need everybody to roll initiative, please.
Ah!
We'll see if any of you manage to beat Hathaway.
Natural 20 for 24.
Let's go.
Okay.
That's a
22.
14.
All right.
15.
Okay. Liza and Silas do get to go before Hathaway. It is very obvious at this point. Hathaway is the bigger physical threat. So I'll leave it to you. Decide what you want to do. Silas, you're first.
Just a quick clarification question. Jeremy, Hex said he doesn't want us to get hurt by them.
So I was saying this to everyone, and yes, I was saying I don't want you to get hurt by by Hathaway, and I do say any harm that falls on Silas will also fall upon me, and I look at my father.
Okay.
Okay. How far away am I from Big Guns Hathaway?
40 feet. And you have to move
Uh,
past Daddy to
Papa?
get to him.
That's okay. You know what? I'm gonna do that. Can
Okay.
can I like
Technically,
start
he does not have a reaction because he's not gotten to take his turn yet.
Wonderful. Yeah, I was gonna say I can use a cunning action if I had to, but great, I'll just zip on past him and get within range. So I only have a 30-foot walking speed because I'm not a fucking monk. So I'm gonna get close enough to toss another dagger this time around.
You have a friend in combat with him, so you get sneak attack if you hit.
I don't get advantage though, do I?
No, you do not.
Okay, because I do not hit then. It was a 9. But at least I'm within a decent range now.
Any bonus action or anything?
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't really have much of anything going on. Okay, no, I can. All right, so I have insightful fighting, so I can make an insight check to, let's see. Oh, well. No, I can't do anything. I lied. I think that's just when you're attacking. Never mind, I'm done. Okay, bye.
Hey, well, can't you offhand throw a dagger too?
Can I? Sure, I'll do it.
You have the daggers, so
Yeah. Sick. Okay, great. Nope. They're covered in shit or something.
As awesome as Silas was, he's just earlier he's just really thrown off by by Hathaway's big gun.
I started some shit and I realize now I have to follow through.
Yep. Liza.
All right, we're
seems to be
quarterstaff
on you.
hits. Ooh, that wasn't good. 12. You said 12.
That
didn't it?
misses.
Okay. What about 16?
Just hits.
Okay. Another 7 damage. Flurry of blows. 21 to hit.
Yep.
That's 11 damage.
Okay.
21 to hit again.
Okay.
8 damage.
Another 26 points of damage unloaded on Hathaway. As you hit him, you miss your first swing. You hit him with the second. You kick him with the third, and then you bring down an elbow for the fourth. And he turns to look at you in the eyes as you're bringing the elbow down, basically on top of his head, and he just takes it, stares at you for several moments, blinks, and then crumples to the ground at your feet.
Great.
All of you see Hathaway just crumple beneath Liza's just assault of attacks, hitting almost every time. Daddy Hex turns and looks in that direction and says, "Well, fuck. Is this how we're doing it then?" And he turns and looks
what?
at his son.
Doing what? Why are you attacking my friends?
Do you want your friends to die?
No,
Is that it?
obviously. Why are you?
There was an opportunity here. There was an opportunity for you to learn. And yet you have obstinately chosen against it once again.
I'm gonna
Why
look
can't
at
you be more like
everyone.
your sister?
He has nothing. He just stares at him.
You should see what your son did out there.
He made the biggest pile of flaming shit I've ever seen.
You really think any of that, any gestures in the direction of where you had come from, matters in this business?
I don't give a shit about your business, and I don't think he does either.
You're right about it.
I mean, of course I care about your professorship.
Hex.
Sorry, I'm trying.
For fuck's sake.
You'd think that after 22 years of me never once giving a single lecture, class, or anything educational to any student at that awful university, you would have understood. You would have had an inkling that there was something not quite right.
I just thought you were on sabbatical.
Are we still in initiative, or...
I'm assuming that we're taking a cinematic moment here. Are you going to... Do you wish to
I'm
try to
thinking about it.
intervene?
I'm thinking about it real hard, but continue.
Oh, you may absolutely do whatever you're going to do.
I would like to stab your father in the back.
I mean, maybe don't tell me about it. Just do it.
I'm just saying for now, I would like to do that.
That's Beth saying, not Silas.
That's Beth saying it. Silas is just gonna do it.
All right. Go for it.
I'm just gonna do that then. Fucking ball sack. 14? Is it back to me?
You surge forward and attempt to stab him in the back, and he just, like a ballet dancer, pirouettes around you and sends you tumbling towards your friends.
You're still
Would
a piece of
Ryrelay like to
shit.
do something? Ryrelay hasn't gotten a chance to act here, so Myriad, Myriad, would you like to do something?
Ryrelay is gonna look at Daddy Hex. Is this gonna like end in a fight? Like, should I just like forego trying to be like diplomatic with you, or?
He just looks at you with his hands kind of up and says, I don't think that I've sent a single shred of hostility other than words towards any of you, have I?
I mean, I haven't either. I haven't attacked or anything, so I think
Right.
that's...
So does that mean that you're going to be the one that actually speaks reason to these idiots?
I mean, I just think that we can all just benefit from relaxing a little bit. And I'm going to look at Silas specifically.
I'm relaxed.
You see him like
Certainly
go
good
to
stuff.
his shoulder where that dagger that Silas threw to kind of initiate everything is, and he pulls it out and he throws it at Silas's feet. He doesn't seem phased over much by the blood that, splorted out of him when he did it either.
You know, as you can see, we're a little on edge. We're getting attacked by Mr. Cross and his guard dog. She's very frightening before the hole got blown through her chest. I think that we should just talk. What is it that you want from us? What can
I
we do
want
for
him.
you?
And him, and he points at Cog and he points at Hex.
All right, you see, but like, what do you mean by want? Because like there's a whole lot of, sexually, otherwise,
Oh,
What kind of a father do you think I am?
not
I mean,
your son, Cog.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's fine.
No.
I thought there was something. Never mind. He's just talking about breakfast. Do
Is that what
want
you
to
mean? You just
kill
want us to-
him?
Look, at this point, I think it's very safe to say that my son is not going to be, well, this son anyway, is not going to be taking over the family business anytime soon.
Yeah.
Am I correct? And he's looking at Hex.
I mean, I have a long way to go before I have tenure.
I'm gonna go up to Hex, and I'm gonna grab his face. Stop talking.
Oh.
Your father's like Your father's a crime lord. You understand that, right?
What?
Someone finally fucking gets it!
What?
I'm gonna force him to look at his father.
Uh.
Crime lord. Violence. Seedy underbelly of the city. Illegal. You guys are very, very rich. You don't get that rich off of a professor's salary. I'm sorry. Education does not pay that well.
I mean, I know I don't make that much money, but I've only been a professor for a few years.
Crime lord.
And the
My
investments.
dear, how would you feel about being adopted?
Papa?
You just shoved me out of my...
I pushed you into the sewer water.
What about the others? The rest of you? Are you done with whatever this is? And he kind of gestures at Liza and Silas.
Are you done being a piece of shit to your son?
I love my son dearly. It's not
I'm
his
sure
fault
that you
that
do.
he is an idiot.
No, it's yours.
Any reaction from Liza on any of this?
Liza's been just sort of taking it in, and she kicked the big gun away from Hathaway just in case he gets up anytime soon. But she's gonna walk over to Cog and kind of stand between Cog and Hex.
Give me a... Well, what is Liza's passive perception? It's decent,
Passive
right? It's like a
is
15 or something?
15, yeah.
Okay. Cog is hobbled there, basically, right? But as you step in front of him and basically provide him cover, he's like kind of hunched over and he's not too far away from your ear, and he says, you know, if you can use these, that would be really great. And you hear this like small, tiny, faint shifting of metallic noise, and then you feel your arm being moved behind you and something being placed in your hand. Takes a few moments, but you're fairly certain that he just slipped shackles into your hand. The rest of you are still stunned by the whole adoption thing.
Now,
And
now, Professor, I don't...
stop. Why can you not? Where did this professor just call me father?
Father?
Thank you.
You don't need to adopt someone to replace me. You're welcome to
Who said
hire...
anything about replacing you?
It's gonna be like, hold on. Wait a minute.
I just
mean-
wanted an actual competent member of the family.
I mean, you're always going off about my siblings, but apparently even they're not good enough for you, but that's...
Listen, your sister is wonderful, and I am certain that one day she will make an excellent mistress of crime. But she's a little bit more bloodthirsty than she needs to be at times. And, well, I can't fault her for that.
Okay,
But,
so
you know,
all of this aside for now, let me absorb this. What do you want to do with Cog? I'm not going to let you hurt him.
I guess that would depend a great deal on how easy it is to extract the information about...
And by extract, you mean
the prize.
ask nicely.
I mean, that's one way of doing it, yeah.
You know, Cog is my friend. I thought he was your friend too.
He's useful, I guess.
Is this why you're always saying, yes, you should have Cog come over to breakfast? I thought it's because you wanted me to have a friend, but no, it's because you wanted whatever's in
When you
his
make
head.
friends with a private investigator and your father is a criminal mastermind, you want to make certain that he is
thought
at
it was
least not getting involved in your
investments.
business. So while this argument is going on, Liza sees an opportunity.
She, I think, wants to take advantage of the fact that Daddy Hex is distracted, and I want to try and sleight of hand one of the shackles onto his wrist.
Okay. Give me a stealth check first. He's very focused on Hex. You would normally be rolling this at disadvantage, but I'll say it's straight roll because
It's a natural
like,
20.
okay. You basically get within 2 feet of him easily without him really paying attention. Go ahead and roll a sleight of hand check to see if you can shackle him.
18?
And welcome in Raiders Grim Quests coming in with the raid. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going a little long tonight, but we are going to be wrapping up here just a few moments. What was that, an 18?
18.
Yeah, you easily are able to shackle one of his arms. He starts to resist. Go ahead and give me either an athletics or an acrobatics check as he tries to throw you off of him.
With
17 acrobatics.
I rolled 2 on the dice,
Oh,
so
okay.
he does not have plus 15 to the roll. He what the hell is, and he starts to shove you back, and he shoves his arm that is not shackled basically into you, so you have a free opportunity for another sleight of hand check to shackle the other wrist.
Absolutely. Ooh, 23.
Ooh.
You shackle the other wrist, and he's like, what the ever? And as soon as he starts to talk, you actually see a number of magical runes light up on the shackles, and his eyes kind of roll up into the top of his head, and he just stands there unmoving.
Professor? Are you okay? What just happened?
Cog reaches out and places a hand on Hex's shoulder and says, don't worry, he'll be all right.
Are you all right?
Yes. No, I'm considering, all things considering, I'm quite good. This has been a great deal more involved than we were originally thinking. And as he says that, you hear slow clap echoing from down the hall. And the familiar shape of a bowler cap wearing Mr. Spade slowly stepping down, walking down the hallway towards all of you. You hear him say, right, well, that was interesting. Never anticipated that would be how this all worked out.
I thought you didn't come to the sewers. You're just an information guy.
Oh, I stayed back. I waited. You did wonderfully, by the way. That was quite the fracas.
And what do you want?
Oh, him! And he points at Xavier.
Why?
Cog, turns Hex towards him and places both hands, one on each shoulder, and says, I'm very sorry, my friend. Your father is awful.
Wait, you've known about this entire time?
No. Yes. No. Maybe.
Did you know about this when you found me to begin with?
No. It wasn't until much later in our friendship that I started to look into your father. And that's when I discovered his other life. And you see this whole...
Life?
I'm sorry?
Breakfast
Oh.
life?
No.
Just checking.
The rampant criminality, the paying off of politicians, the smuggling of people and wealthy merchandise, the distribution of all manner of intoxicants and drugs meant to harm and cause people to become addicted to things, the nefarious way he looks at people. It was all manner of indicators.
That was just his face.
Well, his face gave off a lot. Anyway, look, I'm so very sorry about this, my friend, but we had to find some way of luring your father out into the open, of getting him into a situation that we would be able to prosecute him. And off to the side, standing next to Liza and Xavier, Spade is just standing there, arms crossed, like leaning up against the wall, and he's, just kind of smiling and pretty happy.
I feel like Sterling just moves the leg like he's trying to like get settled in and just like flicks some sewer water up on his pant leg. That's the decide though.
So what will you do with him now?
Oh, he'll be prosecuted to the fullest extent of every law imaginable in Sharn.
That seems vast. I think I need to go outside and have some fresh air.
That would probably be smart. And just so you know, Garrick is just fine. And at that, Mr. Spade just kind of chuckles and says, "Oh, that was a good one." So, any of you folks interested in joining the Night Watch? And that's where we're going to call it, ladies and gentlemen.
What the fuck?
No.
Who the fuck is Garrick?
Blackthorn?
The original guy?
The guy that died?
Oh, that guy.
Died?
We were bamboozled.
A little bit, yes. You were bamboozled. Your innocence was taken advantage of.
They could have
You were-
picked any other chucklefuck group, and they happened to pick ours.
They just happened to pick yours. Wonder why that happens to player characters so often. Who knows? Anyways, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this hullabaloo of an adventure. I hope everyone had fun. I certainly had fun. The role-playing was fucking stellar, guys. Thank you so much. I'm glad that my asshole NPCs really brought it out.
As always.
Yeah, as usual. Yeah, so we're just going to do a quick round of shout-outs here, or outros here, give everybody an opportunity to talk about everything they've got awesome going on, and we will start, once again, with the aforementioned, the very professional, the wonderful, the amazing Myriad.
Hey guys, I'm Myriad, or Myriad, whatever you want to call me is fine. You can catch me here on twitch.tv/Myriad_X. I do a whole bunch of stuff on my channel. We do art, variety gaming, as well as TTRPGs. Right now we are running through my D&D 5e homebrew campaign, All We've Lost, Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. However, we will be off this upcoming week as we play over on Guild Superior with a cheeky little alien one-shot.
Nice.
So make sure to tune in for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And don't forget about lights on Friday.
Yes. Well, I figured that was the thing that you could plug.
Yeah, probably. I'm a little tired too, as we all are. Speaking of tired, how you doing, Deb?
I'm good. I'm tired. I'm Deb. I am on Instagram at dsweats. You can see pictures of the cats. Monster was here a couple times, which was great. I on Wednesdays can be found over on Folk and Myth, playing in Miko's homebrew 5e world, and it's so much fun. We have gotten into some shenanigans recently, so
And got wrecked.
yes, definitely. That I think is mostly what I've got going on for now, and a couple of things in the works for the future. But it's good to be here. Jeremy, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure.
Speaking of pleasures, Hi, Beth.
Hey, that was great. I am Beth. You can find me on the interwebs at Beth Masco, and much like Deb on Wednesdays at Folk and Myth for Miko's Ystera game. Shenanigans did happen, and also a whole lot of drama. So please come check that out because it is quite fun and
There was tears.
emotionally devastating. Oh, always. There is more stuff coming up. I really enjoyed trying to keep this a noir thriller while also causing so much fucking chaos. Hope we didn't ruin too much of it.
Nah.
And Jeremy, as always, it's super, super fun to play with you and on your channel.
You too, thank you.
Indeed. Speaking Raven mentioned in the chat emotional damage when we were talking about the Ystera game. Yeah, we've had a fair bit of that. Raven, you should probably send me your address. I feel like we owe you like a crate of tissues at this point, because there's been a lot of crying from the last couple of episodes.
You should
in
have stock
particular.
options in Kleenex. Just say.
Heck yeah.
Definitely. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and do my outro so that Jeremy can finish up and wrap things up, because it's his channel after all, and he should actually probably be responsible for it. I certainly shouldn't be responsible for any of this disaster. But thank you all for tuning in to this disaster. I have been Nico, otherwise known as the OKSGM. You can find me on all the socials at the_OKS_GM, or in the places that don't like underscore, you just take them out. You can also find most of my stuff on the OKSGM.com. I am also one of the founding creators over at Folk and Myth. You can check out more about that at folkandmyth.com or on the Folk and Myth Twitch channel. I am guest appearing on Tuesday on Tales on Tap. That is a UK-based stream, so it's at 1 o'clock. I have been saying 2 o'clock recently, and that was wrong because time zones. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. Tune in for that. It's been a whole hell of a lot of fun. As Deb and Beth mentioned, you can find me on Wednesdays over at Folk and Myth, and we've got all kinds of stuff coming up in the future. Check out our socials at Folk and Myth, and keep tuned in. Thank you so much, everybody. Jeremy?
Hey, I'm Jeremy. You can find me here on this channel doing the things. You can also head over to most of the socials and find me at WH Pubs. This Monday, join me at this Monday at 3 p.m. I'll be doing the weekly Monday miniature. I'm just hanging out, chatting, making miniatures on Hero Forge. Then Wednesday we have a episode of For the Horde of the Dragon Queen, where we're playing Tyranny of Dragons, but on the other side of things, they're playing the Cultists, who are trying to bring back Tiamat, because why wouldn't you, right?
That's been a hell of a lot of fun to watch, by the way.
Thanks. It's been enjoyable to watch there. Speaking of, chaos gremlins, and
Yeah,
I think this chat
you should get Beth to guest appear on that,
right?
Because she'll fit right in.
I think so.
Sure.
And then Friday, we're going back to Daggerheart for our ongoing play test that is at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then finally, next Saturday, we are doing our another D&D one-shot, Encephalon Gorgers on the Moon, which was published by Frog God Games. It's like pseudo Mind Flayers, because you can't use Mind Flayers unless you're WotC, right? Good times. Thanks everybody for joining. Thank you, Raven, for being our Patreon Great Wyrm supporter. Always appreciated. And we did music shoutouts, yeah?
Yeah, all the shoutouts are done.
Okay, awesome.
Are you raiding?
We are. We're gonna raid over to, I think, Dork Tales.
Dork Tales. Woo.
So thanks so much for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time. Bye.